This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL Premiership season
on ABC Radio,
ABC Sport Digital, and take us with you on the ABC Listener.
Look for the AFL button.
So often seen as the poorer cousin of the local rivalries in the AFL, the Q Clash takes centre stage on this Sunday night at the Gabba. Public holiday in Queensland tomorrow, so that's one of the reasons why we're playing Sunday night footy here. And it's fantastic that you could join us on ABC Sport at the Brisbane Cricket Ground. Quentin Hull and Michael Price to call the action. Matt Primus and Jamie Stanton are your analysts. Zane Bojak's down on the boundary as the Lions and the Suns do battle for local bragging rights and also to try and change the narrative of their seasons. For Brisbane, they need to let everyone know that, they're still in the fight because their last couple of weeks have been poor, pretty average in the eyes of many. Their second half fade out against the Giants at Manuka. Brisbane with just 2 wins from 7 games. Last year's grand finalists are facing a battle to make the 8, let alone get deep in September in 2024. Well, the Gold Coast Suns, they've won 4 games of their 7 starts. Last up, it was a 37-point victory over West Coast at Carrara. They've got a handful of their prime, locally produced draft picks playing in their first Q Clash tonight. And whether or not Damien Hardwick, he's already come out speaking strongly. They've won the most recent Q Clash, the Suns. That was at the back end of last year, and they want to be known as the Kings of the North. Well, I think there's a fair bit of interest in this one, a game which, it's no showdown, it's no derby, it's no Blues v Pies and 100 years of rivalry at the MCG, but whether or not this is something tonight that takes the next step in this rivalry between Gold Coast and Brisbane, because the competition's looking on. It's a standalone time slot. Matt Primus and Jamie Stanton, as I reintroduce you to our audience that has just joined, and explain the currency of tonight.
Well, the currency is huge, mate. And I know Dimmer well. Internally, he would have built this up as here's an opportunity. So for our big brothers who may have had a bit of our measure, here's a chance to ruin their season. You know, if they lose this, I reckon their final chances are gone, Brisbane, and then it's a long season for them to play out with a fair bit of media and heat on them. So they'll be looking at this as a great... And also, it is an away game, but it's an hour up the road, so really it's not an away game for them. They haven't had to travel that far. And Brisbane, 3 weeks ago, they were terrific against Melbourne, but their last 2 weeks, second half against Geelong, and then last week they were really poor.
So Matt Primus, former Port coach and captain. Jamie Stanton, the current AFL Queensland women's coach, a woman who wears the sun strip currently, formerly has worn the lion strip. You know what it's like inside these two clubs. Jamie, great that you could be on board for Q Clash. What's it mean when these two run into each other?
Yeah, it's funny. We were speaking about before that internal versus external setup. The internal setup is huge. This is as close to finals atmosphere as you can get. Both teams hate each other. Both teams, want to get this win so badly. I'll be really interested to see how Gold Coast goes. Sometimes they can have a little bit of a soft underbelly when it comes to these big games. That there's a bit of pressure on them and expectation. Where normally, I'll say excluding this season, Brisbane probably have that really strong underbelly and they perform in these moments, but it'll be interesting to see how they go based off this year's form.
And for the last time across this round 8, the players gather in the middle of the centre circle and the crowd will show its respect.
Please rise as we pay tribute to the women whose lives have been tragically cut short due to violence. The football world is united as we come together to say enough is enough and this must stop. Behind every death is a woman who lived and who was loved. When it comes to violence against women, the only acceptable figure is 0. We remember all the women who have been killed in gender-based violence and stand in solidarity in committing to do more to stop this community-wide problem. Please pause for a moment as we pay our respects and join in a silent tribute to those women who have lost their lives.
And what could be a record crowd for a Q Clash. Stand and show their respect at the Gabba. 27,170 is the biggest ever Q Clash crowd. That was back in 2013. There is a huge crowd here. Zane Bojack down on the boundary. What a good night we have weather-wise for this highly anticipated clash.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, Q. This is the moment for AFL and South East Queensland. They're ready. Both teams fired up. It's 22 degrees. The Suns are on the toss and they're going to kick towards the city end. I can't wait for this one. Can the young upstarts, can they show in their first Q Clash how they can play? Or with the Lions, will they finally break the mould and get back to being the team that we knew they were, just haven't been this year?
And as ever, you can get in touch with us. The SMS number, please send us your name and where you're texting from. It's 0437 774 774. 0437 774 774. Tips, Matt Primus.
Gold Coast by 2 goals.
Jamie Stanton.
Gold Coast by 5 goals.
We never tip, Pricey, but it's our game tonight, the Q Clash. What are you going for?
Lions are due by 5 points.
Lions by 6 goals. I think they've gone too heavy on the kids, the Suns.
Yep.
Prove me wrong. Let's see what's going to happen in Q Clash 26. Michael Price, the opening bounce.
So we've got Oscar McInerney for the Lions versus Jared Witts for the Gold Coast. Perfect bounce to start in the Gabba. The big men fly. McInerney gets it down to Tuke. Miller immediately tackled, gets it out to Anderson. His handball's cut off there by Lockneil. He's tackled, he's held up just a couple of metres forward to the centre circles, and we'll have another ball up straight away. As looks like Lockie Neal has got Noah Anderson there for company. McInerney gets it down. Anderson gets there first. Lockie Neal wraps him up and throws him down again. So it's a very tight start here at the Gabba.
And Bruce Revell is under that pack. The first gamer, born in Papua New Guinea via a number of stops to get to the AFL, 23 years of age. Again, no stoppage clearance here. And it's the Blue Coast Suns tonight playing in their away strip. McInerney and Witts tangle. Rayner comes through to win the clearance for Brisbane. Short hand pass to Neal. Scrubbing kick inside 50, intercepted by Miller of the Suns. 1-2 hand pass exchange with Flanders. Now Miller, the 4-time Choppers medalist, kicks towards half forward. The target there was Reid. He couldn't take the mark. Play on. Lions have got the football at right half back. Lester hand passes to Neal. Hand pass to Revell, who takes the tackle of Berry. That's Thomas. Over the boundary line he goes for a throw-in on the outer side.
Just noticed that the rivalry was up in the crowd. When the Suns came out, the Lions crowd gave them the rounds of the house as the umpire throws it in. It's been a high shot. Matt Rowell will take the free kick. Cop one from the Big O. Just forward to centre wing on the outer side. He wheels onto his right foot. It's a long kick into the pocket, making his way to the front of the pack. Lester, but King at the back. He's got to pay that, absolutely. Lester had the front spot, but Big Ben King over the top took a nice clunk.
And there's some late breaking news. Brandon Starcevic is not playing. He must have done something in the warm-up. We had the teams come through that Harry Sharp was the sub. So Starcevic is a late out, and Logan Morris is going to make his debut as the sub. Harry Sharp is playing. We'll get the news from Zane after this kick from Ben King.
So Ben King from 30 metres out, 45-degree angle to the left. He's had an accurate year, 19 goals, 80. Leans back on this one, and it's no different. Straight through the middle for Ben King. And the Suns get the first goal in Q Clash 26. One straight to the Lions yet to score, 2.5 gone in the first term on ABC Sport. Zane Bojack's on the boundary.
Yeah, waiting to be confirmed what happened to Starcevic, but I believe it's a leg injury, whether that's a possible hamstring. But, yeah, definitely Logan Morris was warming up in the dressing room and will be fronting up on the bench very shortly. Medicos from the Lions, they went everywhere just prior to the first bounce, so it's all shaken up the Lions bench, that is for sure.
Yeah, getting word it's a calf injury for Brandon Starcevic, so early drama in Q Clash 26, first goal to the Suns.
Yeah, mature one out too for Starcevic. Definitely a key down back for an interesting. Brisbane tried to get a spare back there to stop the mark on the ball, but King was still able to beat 2 Brisbane players and a beautiful mark and finish.
Perfect bounce to restart play in the middle. Neither ruckman get to it, but the ump says that's because Witts was shielding McInerney away from the ball. Free kick to Big Oscar. Hand passes to Zorko. Zorko chips towards half forward. Powell makes the intercepting spoil for the Suns. Roving, though, is Tunstall of Fletcher of Brisbane, should I say. Hand pass goes out the back from Dunkley to McKenna. Then Fletcher slips over, kicked off the ground to half forward, picked up by McCluggage of Brisbane. He's 60 out, chips it to full forward. Danaher juggles once and twice and takes the grab. 25 out directly in front.
Beautiful composure by McCluggage then, wasn't he? Looking for a lead, all the leads were cut off. He was able to come back inside, step the Gold Coast player and saw Danaher, who the Suns defender had dropped off him, and a beautiful kick. And the big reach of Joey there was able to bring it down.
Hear that? That's the nervous squirm of Lions supporters, which we hear at the Gabba every time Joe Danaher's got a set shot that he should kick. 30 out directly in front. He's missed it to the right. Every game's a clean sheet, but that's a narrative which has history. Suns won straight, Lions won behind.
So the Suns by 5 points early. Flanders takes off from the goal square. Long kick just short of centre wing out of side. Oh, Witts just crunched the pack. Fisted forward by the Lions, rowed by Dunkley. Sweeping handball over to Neal on the 50. Handball back to Revel, and he kicks it to Danaher, who drops the mark. Picked up by McAndrew for the Gold Coast Suns defence. On the left foot, just short of centre wing out of side. Gets to Jared Witts. Nicely done by Payne. Handball out to Wilmot, now out to Revel with the cornrows from 60. Kicks it into the pocket. Ballard beautifully handled. And McCarthy has gone down, and he's holding a leg. He has not moved as the Suns play on. It comes to the boundary. It's kicked out of bounds on the full. It will be a Lions free kick, but in the right forward pocket, Link McCarthy, head in hands, and he's feeling for his right knee.
And looks distraught. McCluggage has the football between wing and left half forward. He marks and kicks infield. Wilmot takes the grab and will play on with no one on the mark. 55 out, kicks to the leading Rayner. Got up too early, couldn't take the mark. Rode by Fiorini of the Suns. Hand pass to Lukosius, to Tom Berry, then to Flanders as they run it out of defence. Kick from left half back to the wing, looking for the lead of King, spoiled by Payne. Picked up by Brisbane's Wilmot. Hand passes to Neal, and Neal kicks backwards. Leicester takes the mark forward of half back, chips it back to the wing for Zorko. Quick transfer through foot, marked by Rayner. 70 out. Spearing ball goes straight to the chest of Powell, who marks for Gold Coast, just defensive side of centre half back, as Link McCarthy is limping to the bench. Zane Bojack keeping a close eye.
Yeah, he's putting weight on. He's really trying to run it out, Q, but I don't know. If I was the trainers, I'd be trying to carry him, but he is running now as he's getting close to where I am over on this wing.
The Gold Coast comes straight down the commentary wing, and they were out too close. He gave it to Holman. The handball over to Anderson. His handball missed Tuke Miller, went over the boundary line just short of the right forward flank over the boundary. Will get a throw in. So the throw in a little short, and it's Witts who gets it down through the legs of Zorko. Picked up by Jakey Rogers. Oh, so slick. He dropped the ball. Picked it up, got it back to Miller. Miller to Holman across the arc. The handball back to Rowell. Kick to the top of the square. Once again, King to the front position. Could have been manhandled, nothing doing. Picked up by Darcy Gardner. Just got a toe to it. Still can't clear the defensive 50. Now it's with McCluggage. The silky skills of Hugh. Gets outside and delivers a nice kick to the lead of Hipwood, who's come a long way down the field to take a chest mark.
McCluggage is next to Miller in the early stages of the game, so that's something worth watching. Eric Hipwood at right half back. Suns lead by 5 points. Turns over his kick. McAndrew takes an uncontested mark from a poor kick on the wing, and then he in turn gives it back. His kick forward was poor. Dunkley marks at half-back for Brisbane. Kick to the middle, marked by Neal. Hand pass to Leicester. Pings through the Gabba bullseye. Deep to Cameron out the back. Great spoil from Powell to knock it out of play. Brilliant one-on-one spoil from Will Powell with Charlie Cameron looking for the ball to float deep.
It's quite interesting. Charlie Cameron's, when he's playing deep, Will Powell's on him. When he's coming up, Sam Flanders is on him. I feel like Cameron should be playing higher up the ground. So
the throw in, left forward pocket for Brisbane, only with one behind on the board. 5 points down. Off hands. Berry the elder got his toe to it and is picked up by Ballard a metre out. He just saunters backwards and delivers a rush behind. So it's 2 behinds to Brisbane, 1 straight to the Suns, 4 points the margin, 8 gone first term.
In good form early, Pricey. I picked it up. Berry the elder. Well done.
Thank you.
Fiorini left back pocket, receives the inbound and is pressured off his kick. Kicks out of bounds on the full. Danaher with the chase has earned a free kick for Brisbane. Oh, here we go. So Joe's missed one from 30 out straight in front. And now He's going to wheel in on the left. Bang deep on the right half forward. Flank from 55. And, of course, he kicks that one. Joe Danaher, in a nutshell, Brisbane in front. It's just not funny anymore.
No, well, you got to laugh still.
It's entertaining, though, isn't it?
It is.
Brisbane 1-2-8. Gold Coast 1 straight 6.
Well, they got reward for their work there. They're 6-3 inside 50s. They're dominating possession and territory, which they've done all year. They haven't been able to capitalise on the scoreboard, but they were then with Joe with a freak shot from the boundary line. And as you mentioned, Q has one from 15 out and very nervous. Shanks it a bit right. Then on the boundary line, plays on, no fear, slices it through the middle.
And more importantly, key forward, chasing, run down, tackle. That's what you want to see. Effort plays. Brisbane have had 0 of those over this season. Massive from Joe.
Jamie Stanton and Matt Primus are experts. Q Clash 26 on ABC Sport.
Yeah, the energy of Brisbane, it's only 10 minutes, but the energy, this is what's been lacking over 4 quarters. Can they continue this up, Brisbane?
They're 2 points up, and that bounce is going to be called back. I'll get Zeno to have a keep an eye on what's going on the boundary. Zeno, is Harry Sharp getting rubbed down there?
It's Logan Morris, actually.
Logan Morris.
And he just got the word from Chris Fagan. I think we might be seeing the end of Link McCarthy because he's just been tapped on the shoulder. He might be coming to this game quicker than we thought.
So the clearance comes with Brisbane. Neil, and it came off hands. Charlie Cameron from 50 metres. It slewed off the side of the boot, and it's going to be called back here. It's going to be a free kick.
Lucky there, Charlie. Had 2 free Brisbane forwards. He should have laced out a little 20-metre kick and decided to have a snap around his body.
Darcy Gardner dealt with off the ball by Charlie Ballard, so he's got a free kick. 45-degree angle to the left, and if he's going to have a shot, he will have it from just on the 50. Just see the former defender just taking in the big, deep breaths. Being placed in the forward line as the 3rd tall in season 2024. Gets over the arc now. Oh, he struck that nicely, Dizzy. That's a nice kick of the Sharon. It's close to the goal post. It's through. Goal umpire clears it. The Lions get their second, 2-2-14, now 8 points in front of the Suns, 1 straight 6. We played 11 minutes of the first term on ABC Sport. Zane Bojak's on the boundary.
Yeah, Logan Morris has been activated, and the doctors came out, and it was resolute look, so he's already taken his top off, and he's part of this game. Young bloke from Werribee, key forward, 191 centimetres. Looking forward to seeing what he can do in his debut.
10 minutes ago, an emergency. 5 minutes ago, a sub. Now, an AFL player, 18 years of age. Wow, that's some story in Q Clash 26.
Oh, it's massive. And after already Brisbane losing Brendan Starcevich, you see Lincoln McCarthy grabbing a knee and you watch the replays on the screen. It looks pretty ominous, unfortunately, but when everyone gets their opportunity, you've got to take it, right? So good luck to him.
Now, Margaret on the text says, as a Bombers fan, I can sympathise with the Lions' frustration with Big Joe. 0437 774 774. Centre clearance, Brisbane. Cameron's up there. That's Charlie Wynn, a hard ball tackled from behind. Great run down by Graham. Kick is offset, and Graham earns a free kick, and Charlie stays down. And he's feeling for his left ankle after that run down tackle from Will Graham. And now Charlie Cameron is struggling to put weight on his left leg. Meanwhile, he's going to hobble to stand the mark while Will Graham is going to take the free kick at centre half back for Gold Coast. Lions lead it by 8 points here. Graham kicks wide to Powell. Marks on the right half back flank. And Cameron now is just trying to run out that complaint, perhaps just a twist of the ankle. As Powell will kick Gold Coast down the broadcast wing. High to a pack at half forward. Reed punches it away and then tries to rove and wins the ball for Gold Coast. Hand pass to Fiorini. Quick snack to a tapping 50 over the head of Swallow. Marked by Lester. Boy, the experience there. Froggy wins out on that occasion. Chip short. Hipwood marks at centre half back. Plays on for Brisbane. Long kick to the wing. And Dunkley used Witts as a step ladder to take a fine mark. Read the flight of the ball beautifully. He's on halfway, Dunkley. Kicks it to half forward. Mark is taken by Sharp. Plays on 55 out. Low kick to the goal mouth. Out the back. Gardner beats his opponent. Wins the footy. Kicks a second. And the Lions have got 3 in a row. And the defender turned forward. Darcy Gardner's kicked the last 2 of them. Brisbane 3-2-20. Gold Coast 1 straight 6. 13 minutes played.
Oh, I've got to laugh. Not on that play there, but once Brizzy won the ball back, Cameron bolted forward, and they didn't use him and went over the top there. Now he's limping off to the boundary line to go get the ankle checked out. But when Brizzy won the ball, the ankle was fine. Don't worry about that. So he'll be fine in a couple of minutes.
There is no pain when you're in possession.
God, no. But you know what's really interesting is with Morris coming in, does Gardner stay forward? He's kicked two. He's having an impact forward of the ball, but that makes them top heavy. So can they play that style the whole game? So it'll be interesting to take note how they move the Magnets post a couple of injuries.
If they can continue their dominance through the middle of the ground and their stoppage stuff, they can afford to do that. But at the moment, it's the game's definitely been played in Brisbane's forward half, 11-3 inside 50s. Then they're marking it really well.
Jamie Stanton and Matt Primus with you on Grandstand AFL.
Back into the middle, and Danaher's into the ruck for Brisbane. He's drawn a free kick there. That'll go against young Will Graham, who basically just blocked his path. So Danaher now holds on to it. The umpire says to him, you must play on, Joe, and it's a typically long left foot kick, top of the square. Hipwood spoiled. Roving Lohman smothered there by Collins for the Gold Coast, picked up by Flanders. Handball backwards to Ballard. A sizzling floater that actually just bounced into the arms of Ainsworth. He made it look very good with a lovely chip kick. About 20 metres forward to find Graham. He fires a pass to find Swallow, picked it up on the half volley, looping handball to the run of Ainsworth, who followed up, went through traffic beautifully. Handball, Fiorini, now Rao, back towards the corridor. Miller, that's a good dumping tackle from Eric Hipwood, dislodged the ball, and now Brisbane have it free across half-back. Through the middle they go.
Hand pass from Fletcher to McCluggage, run down by McAndrew. Great tackle, play on to advantage as the Suns come away through Atkins. Centre square, he kicks deep to full forward. No mark taken, ball at ground level, and the cavalry arrives. And we'll see a ball up. Oh, Big Mac, what a play.
Had some closing speed then, didn't he? There was nothing ahead of the ball. That's why the Brisbane play didn't get rid of it. But, geez, great closing speed.
Gabba humming in the early stages of Q Clash 26 on ABC Sport. Stoppage, 40 from the Suns, goal, no clearance. As Ainsworth's over the top of Zorko, and of course Zork gets up, giving Ainsworth a gobful, and there's a little shirt grab. Ball's tossed up. Reed, clean possession, turned it over with his hand pass though. Dunkley for Brisbane. Clears the defensive zone, kick to the middle of the ground looking for Hipwood. Was held on to by Andrew. There are some long limbs in that contest.
It's like two pipe cleaners having a crack at it.
Seriously, is this the high jump or a footy game?
Eric Hipwood standing on the logo commentary side. Tries to measure a pass and finds Reville. Snoop holds on to the ball. Delivers a lovely pass to the lead of Hipwood, who kept going. 60 from goal against the boundary line. He delivers a beautiful pass into the path of Kyle Lohman. He takes it 30 metres out, very tight angle to the left. He's going to be facing inboard.
I know we're joking about Bruce here and his Snoop attire, but he's actually had a couple of pretty good impact plays so far. His kicking ability's been good and he's having a crack. He's showing the Brizzy Lions what they need to do. 3
disposals, 115 metres gained so far for Bruce. As Kyle Lohman comes in, curls it around with the right foot, hits the post 2/3 of the way up. Another behind, 3-3-21 to 1 straight 6. 15 points the margin in favour of Brisbane. Zane Bojak's on the boundary.
Yeah, Logan Morris is finding out what AFL football is all about. He's been involved in a couple of little tater-tays with Charlie Ballard, and Ballard's put him on the ground a couple of times, so young fella's got a test of his physicality.
Flanders runs out of the goal mouth and has a bounce before kicking a long inbound to the outer wing. The target was Walter coming from behind, but McKenna in front sees it out of play. Jed Walter among this group of young Gold Coast teenagers playing in their first Q Clash. This highly touted draft crop. Two ruckman tangle, tap it back over the boundary line. We'll do it all again on that outer side. So a tick over 27,000 pricey, the best ever Q Clash crowd. Reckon we're set to beat it tonight.
It's going to be very close. There is a fizz around the ground, Q, and as Zano pointed out a bit earlier, the top tier is fairly well occupied at the moment. Throw in. McInerney got it down into the path of McLuggage. Half tackled off the ball, gathered by Closey. He loses it. Towed forward by Berry to the arc of 50. Now going up for Atkin. Tried to pick it up. He couldn't. Sam Collins could for the Gold Coast. Just hacks it out of there. It's cut off by Lockie Neal. 70 from go. Inside 50. Kicks it towards Hipwood. Spoiled there by McAndrew. They're going to be out here. Rao picks it up. He's tackled. Lets loose the ball. Tuke Miller over it. His looping handball's a speculator, but well handled by Witts. He speculates one even wider. Going out there, Wilmot tackled without the ball for Brisbane. He's going to receive a free kick. As much as the crowd love that one, Darcy Wilmot's going to bring it back into the corridor.
Short pass to Zorko, who's hassled by Holman, but gets to a kick, which is wide. And out on the full, is it? Yep, out of bounds on the full. Looking to find McInerney at right half forward, but too wide from the Zork, so Jared Witts is going to take the free kick. The co-captain for the Suns with his left boot. Kicks down the wing. Zorko gets in the way. Takes the mark. Uncontested in the end. Chips infield to Reveal. Bruce Reveal with the right boot on Deboo. High to half forward. Third man in Lukosius. Spalls away from Hipwood. Andrew was there as well, but it's rode by Loman of Brisbane. Hand pass to Sharp. Sharp's tackled immediately. No prior. And a ball up 40 from the Lions goal. Brisbane 3-3-21. Lead Gold Coast 1 straight 6, 19 minutes in.
He did well, Sharp, then. A lot of contest, held the ball in, gives them another stoppage and a chance to score.
Umpire throws it up. It's beautifully roved by Noah Anderson for the Gold Coast. Hacks it into the middle. Leicester with the good spoil over Ethan Reid. It's going to be to Walter, the big fella. Picks it up one-handed, then hacks a kick towards centre half forward. Off hands, Reid rose beautifully. A handball to Miller. Tuke Miller from 50. Chips it towards the goal square. Too far for the run there of the player in Tom Berry. Just out of his reach. It was a little chip kick that open goal, basically. Berry got his fingertips to it and rushed it through for a behind. 21 plays 7. 14 points the margin, 20 gone first term.
And the inbound is deep and precise on the head of Zorko. Late spoil came in from Ainsworth to knock it away from the veteran line. He then steps out of play and is penalised for insufficient attempt to keep it in. And Bruce Reveal is going to get the free kick. I don't know whether he's Bruce Almighty or Snoop Doggy Dog. Whoever he is, he's just a young man fulfilling his dream, Bruce Reveal. High from right half back. He kicks a long ball down the wing to a big pack. Oh, fumble from McCluggage at the Rove allows Anderson to pinch his pocket. Hand pass to Lukosius, kicks the Suns back into attack. Andrews, the flight of the ball favoured him out the back of Reid, and he takes the most casual of one-handed marks. Chip short to Leicester. Leicester marks. Chip short to Rayner. Rayner marks. Hand passes through centre half back to Zorko. Zorko kicks to the edge of the centre square. Marked by Neal. Lightning transition from the Lions, and the kick to the pocket is good for the elder of the Berries. Jared takes the mark for Brisbane. 30 out in the right forward pocket. That was beautiful.
It's been really evident tonight that as soon as Brisbane have taken a mark, they've had this intent to play on. They're trying to move the ball quite quickly through Gold Coast's zone defence, and it's really interesting to see if that's something that continues from the Lions tonight, or if it's just one of these one-off things that's just happening by the movement of the ball.
So Jared Berry. Tight angle, 40 out. Between right half forward and the right forward pocket. This for a fourth opening quarter goal for Brisbane. Strikes it on his right boot. Strikes it beautifully. And the Lions have got the jump. Mind you, the start of the game hasn't been the issue for them. It's been the back end. But everyone starts at 0. And through 21 and a half minutes, it's 4-3 to 1-1.
But they're winning the game by the stuff that has been missing from their game. There's an intensity. When the Suns have got the ball, they are harassing. There's been no easy inside 50s apart from the Tuke Miller one that missed, where Brisbane are just flowing, as you mentioned before, Jamie, beautiful ball movement. But every time the Suns have got it, Brisbane are shutting down space. There's a contest in the air, contest on the ground. That's the intensity that Fages was after, and that's what's been having there for a half, and then missing for a half, and that's what's made Brisbane only have 2 wins so far this year. So good signs very early.
70-6 the inside 50s in favour of Brisbane at the moment. They're actually 400 plus in metres gained as well. So
yeah, the Suns can't slow them down at all, Pricey.
Back into the middle. Big Oscar McInerney versus Witts. Witts slaps it forward to the advantage of the Gold Coast, but Lockneil gets there first. Now he's dragged that back in. He's tackled by Will Graham and Matt Rowell. He drops the ball. Anderson flicks it forward by hand inside the attacking 50. Zorko did beautifully. The handball off to the run of Harris Andrews. His handball into Berry. Now he chips it into the centre of the ground. McCluggage. Another 20-metre kick by foot finds Charlie Cameron revitalised. Handball back to McCluggage. Sizzles a pass inside 50. And he hits the young man, Logan Morris. In his first game of foot, he's taken the mark. 25 metres out directly in front. The Suns get into him a little bit. But boy, the Lions, they're protective of him as he goes back. There's a little bit more of a scuffle going on, but they don't want to get too much involved.
Life can change in an instant. This boy wasn't playing 20 minutes ago.
So Logan Morris, he was an emergency. He was a sub. He's injected into the game. His first attempt at goal in AFL footy. From 30 metres out, he's missed to the right. The theatre's gone. 4-4-28 plays 1-1-7. 21 points the margin in favour of the Lions. 23 gone first term.
I just feel for his family members and all that as well. I wonder whether they thought, oh, will we make the trip or not? You know, those are the kinds of other stories when you get a late call up like that. Good injection from the inbound for the Suns. Deep to the wing. Witts takes the mark. Hand passes to one of the only taller blokes on the field. That's Andrew. Hand passes onto Ainsworth. Left foot kick towards half forward. Huge fly from Walter. Got a piece on the head of Ainsworth. He couldn't take the mark, and Ainsworth stays down. Ball's on the deck, defensive 50 for the Suns, but won by Brisbane's Neil. Hand pass to Zorko. Zorko's tackled. Hold on, up comes in and says, free kick to Jared Berry, as Noah Ainsworth now is in the hands of the trainers, and I fancy is being ushered from the field for head injury assessment.
Yep, a knee right in the back of the head from Walter, so definitely be assessment, Q.
And
nasty.
Noah Ainsworth, who extended his contract at the club in the lead into this game. Zane Bojack down on the boundary.
Yeah, what a week. A 2-year extension, and all of a sudden you're walking off the Gabba. And I tell you what, Q, he looks in a lot of trouble. I don't think he even knows where he still is. This is a real worry for the Lions. They're already down 2 players.
Well, they lost Brendan Starcevic in the warm-up, and they've lost Link McCarthy during the game already. As they go down the outer side, just forward of centre wing, Kyle Oman gets involved for Brisbane, drags the ball in underneath Jakey Rogers, and umpire's going to come in and say, we'll ball it up. So it's been an attrition start for Brisbane. Hot on the scoreboard, but they're losing manpower quite early. Off hands, Ainsworth into the path of Rogers. He gathers beautifully, got the handball off to Holman. Ainsworth kept running for the Gold Coast. His little left foot pass finds Ethan Reid. Chest mark taken on the boundary. Has he taken it inside? Yes, he has. 55 out in front of Harris Andrews. The crowd thought it was out. But the youngster now wheels around onto his right foot. Kicks a long one to the top of the square. Ben King, the target. Floating across the front. It's going to be a free kick for a hold, is it?
Yeah, Payne was looking for King and grabbed him in the panic of he lost his body and grabbed him when the ball was coming in.
Must admit, I was watching that through the binoculars and I couldn't quite see too much of a hold, but he must have had the arms around enough, as Ben King is going to have a free kick 15 metres out directly in front.
Good job, Mattress. Right on it.
He kicked the only goal for the Gold Coast Suns, was the opening goal of the game in the 2-minute mark. And he comes through. They need this one. To the boos of the Gabba crowd in Q Clash 26. Ben King comes in, pops through his second. 4-4-28 the Lions, the Suns 2-1-13, back to a 15-point margin. And we've played 26 minutes of the first term on ABC Sport.
Yeah, the first time we've been able to see the Suns, sorry Jamie, they're flowing over, the handball overlapping work. That was the first time it had been an easy, not an inside 50, but the lead to the tall forward there. And that kick to space out the top made Payne search for him, and we're watching the replay, yeah, just the hands around the waist, and made an easy decision for the umpire. But the first time Brizzy's intensity around the ball has just dropped a little bit. Brisbane, should I say. I'm not allowed to call him Brizzy. The caller got into me a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, Brizzy's okay. During Q Clash, I think.
Well, it's funny, Q, you mentioned in the pre-show about Ben King and having, does Jed Rolter have the right support act to help him succeed as the key forward like Jonathan Brown and Lynchy did back in the day, but he's showing tonight that he can take contested marks or put himself in contested situations.
Jamie Stanton with you on ABC Sport. Witts with the tap at the centre bounce. Miller comes through to win the clearance for the Suns. Hand passes defensive side of the pack to Flanders. High kick to centre half forward. Swallow has to play spoiler on Leicester. Brisbane at ground level. Payne does the roving. Hand passes back to Leicester. Gave it on to Dunkley. Dunkley chips wide to Reville. Bruce Reville on debut. He gets a 50-metre penalty because Closey had stepped over the mark. Born in PNG, formative years in Cairns, junior footy on the Sunshine Coast, played for the Sherwood Magpies in Brisbane. And here he is, 23 years of age, playing his first game. Gets to the centre of the ground. Reveals, kicks a bullet to Dunkley. What a pass. That's a 55-metre absolute dart, which is marked by Dunkley in the left forward pocket.
Damien Hardwick would be going off in the box. Closey gives away the 50-metre penalty, gives a little bit of dissent to the umpire, and then doesn't follow Dunkley, the player he was on, into the side defensive 50. Oh, I'd hate to be close when he gets to a phone next.
Dunkley 2 steps infield, right foot snap punt, always near side and to behind. Brisbane's lead 16 points, 4-5-29 to 2-1-13. Zane?
Yeah, Noah Ainsworth was in a really bad state when I told you, talked to you last time, Q. He's gone straight into the dressing room. I don't think we're going to see him back.
Dear, oh dear. So it's a ordinary start physically for the Lions. Comes off hands now. Tuke Miller overran the ball. Neil picked it up for Brisbane. Shot a handball into the path of Lohman. Couldn't pick it up. Will Graham did. He's tackled immediately. Shot a handball out. Neil grabbed it and Holman absolutely crunches him into the ground. He lets loose the ball, picked up by Jasper Fletcher on the boundary line. His kick, was it out of bounds on the full? No, it dribbles out and will be a throw-in. 55 metres out at right half forward for Brisbane, and they're leading this one by 16 points late in the first term.
Brandon Starcevic laid out with the calf. Logan Morris in and playing as the sub as Link McCarthy was injured early, and Noah Ainsworth's in trouble as well. Ball's on the wing from the stoppage. Kicked off the ground by Wilmot of Brisbane, but cleaned up out the back by Fiorini of the Suns. Hand passes to Flanders. Rush kick to the wing. It pitches and gathered by Andrews of Brisbane. Hand passes to the former skipper in Zorko. Hands it to the boundary. Nice tap infield there from Fletcher. Back to Zorko. He got tackled, got up, got the ball. Play on. Rogers picks it up. Rogers is tackled. And we'll see eventually a boundary throw-in with the Zork buzzing around trying to do everything out there, and he's had a good start. Brisbane 4-5-29, Gold Coast 2-1-13 on ABC Sport. Boundary throw in halfway out of side. Anderson wins the crumb for Gold Coast. Hand passes to Rogers from 80, kicks inside 50. Lester leaves his man to get in front of a contest and take a good defender's mark in the right back pocket.
They blocked off the kicking lanes there, Brisbane, as it kicks straight down the middle. Beautiful pass from Cameron and actually hit Dunkley just adjacent to the centre circles. So they all stream past him. He kicks it back into the centre to find Charlie Cameron. Cameron lowers the eyes, hits Lohman. Another dart. It hit Lohman 45 metres out, more or less directly in front. Beautiful kick from Charlie Cameron.
Yeah, their kicking skills are fantastic, even out of their back line. Their midfielders are getting ahead of Gold Coast Suns. Cameron won that, and a couple of good kicks between the arcs, and the ball's flowing too good, and the Suns defenders just don't have a chance when there's no pressure up ahead on the ball.
20 inside 50s to 11 at the moment. It's going to be Kai Lohman. 5 goals for the year, 5-4 in fact. The 20-year-old. He'll let go from just on the paint of 50. It's a nice looking kick. That's a delightful kick from the young man. He salutes the crowd. Jumps into the arms of his teammates, and the big chest bump with Darcy Wilmot as well at centre half forward. The 5th goal for the Lions, 5-5-35, plays 2-1-13. 22 points the margin late in the first term. Zane Bojak's on the boundary.
Yeah, the Lions have got a handy lead, but they're going to have to play the rest of the match with only a 3-man bench because Noah Ainsworth is officially out. The Lions have told me he's out with concussion.
It's really funny, like, Matty, you're talking about Gold Coast not putting pressure at the source. Then it means that the defenders are under the pump because the midfielders aren't putting pressure at the source, but then they're not at the right spot to get in front of those leading lanes of those key forwards of Brisbane. So they're not doing either right at the moment because they can't slow down Brisbane's ball movement. They're not getting in the leading lanes, and because they're not putting pressure on at the source, the defenders can't get in good positions to actually stop the flow and stop these marks from happening.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Jamie Stanton with you on ABC Sport. Quarter time's imminent. Centre bounce. McInerney gets first hand. Kicked out of the air by Miller of the Suns. No great effect, and that ends the first term of Q Clash 26, which has storylines aplenty. Brandon Starcevic laid out with a calf injury. Lincoln McCarthy subbed out with a leg injury. Noah Ainsworth out of the game with concussion. And among that, Bruce Reville makes his debut as selected. And Logan Morris, the 18-year-old from Victoria, comes in from the emergencies list to be subbed, to be playing, to have a shot at goal, which he missed, all in the space of less than half an hour. But on the scoreboard, it's the Lions leading by 22 points. Brisbane 5-5-35 to Gold Coast's 2-1-13. Darcy Gardner has 2 goals for Brisbane. The others kicked by Joe Danaher, Jared Berry and Kai Lohman. Gold Coast's only 2, both kicked by Ben King. Fremantle and Hawthorn, the 2 winners earlier today. If you missed those scores, the Dockers by 9 goals over the Tigers. The Hawks in an upset at Docklands by 7 points over the Western Bulldogs, if you missed that late score. Hawthorn 14-14-98 to the Western Bulldogs 14-7-91. And in the National Rugby League today, Newcastle and Cronulla Sutherland the victors. The Knights 14 points to 8 over the Warriors, and the Sharks 20 points to 10 over the Dragons. Here, 22 points is the lead to Brisbane. It's quarter time. Q Clash 26 live from the Gabba on ABC Sport.
Hi, Waleed Ali here. If your brain's hungry for insights, the ABC Listen app has a feast of podcasts.
Try The Minefield.
Today we're going for the problem of evil.
Injustice and evil, if they're the same thing.
You might also like Future Tense.
And there is a sense of privilege in that idea of natural, isn't there? Which can easily be manipulated.
Without a doubt. Or Dr. Carl.
You can feel a slight cooling, that's latent heat of vaporisation or something.
Load up a podcast and feed your mind with the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
It's a long kick into the pocket, making his way to the front of the pack. Lester, but King at the back. He's got to pay that, absolutely. He's had an accurate year, 19 goals, 80. Leans back on this one, and it's no different. Straight through the middle for Ben King. And the Suns get the first goal in Q Clash 26.
Brandon Starcevic is not playing. He must have done something in the warm-up. They're getting word it's a calf injury for Brandon Starcevic, so early drama in Q Clash 26.
And McCarthy has gone down, and he's holding a leg. He has not moved as the Suns play on.
Danaher with the chase has earned a free kick for Brisbane. Oh, here we go. So Joe's missed one from 30 out straight in front. And now he's going to wheel in on the left. Bang deep on the right half forward. Flank from 55. And of course he kicks that one. Joe Danaher in a nutshell. Brisbane in front.
Yeah, Logan Morris has been activated, and the doctors came out and it was resolute look, so he's already taken his top off and he's part of this game.
Sharp plays on 55 out. Low kick to the goal mouth, out the back. Gardner beats his opponent, wins the footy, kicks a second. And the Lions have got 3 in a row. Huge fly from Walter, got a piece on the head. Answorth, he couldn't take the mark, and Answorth stays down.
I tell you what, Q, he looks in a lot of trouble. I don't think he even knows where he still is. This is a real worry for the Lions. They're already down 2 players.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Plenty of drama in the opening term of Q Clash 26. Welcome back to the Gabba. Quentin Hull and the team with you for ABC Sport. It's Brisbane leading Gold Coast by 22 points. I should have mentioned around the grounds, we could be heading for penalties, by the way, in that Melbourne victory v Melbourne City A-League men's playoff match deep in extra time there. It's still 1-1. But what about the start here? Matt Primus and Jamie Stanton, your experts.
Well, outstanding by Brisbane. In the clinches, the Suns are going okay. 10-5 stoppages. They're about +8 in hard ball gets. But once the ball gets out of that inside bubble, Jamie, they're half-backs, Wilmot, Zorko, Leicester, are just rebounding off half-back. And then the midfielders, which is normally a bit of a criticism, Brisbane, but their midfielders are getting outside the Suns midfield, who are really well known for a great two-way running team, but they are getting back to help out, and then they're bursting forward and giving some great options inside 50. So credit to them. Obviously done some soul searching after their Thursday night game against the Giants, and they've come out with the gusto, tough inside, harassing the Suns, but then ball in hand. It's been really good to watch.
I think that's the really impressive part is the ball movement. Like, Brisbane's ball movement tonight has been really elite. Like, whether it's by hand, by foot, but it's the speed of the ball movement too. As soon as they take a mark, they're looking to play on, or they're looking for that handball receive. So there's a real intent there to go quick, and I wonder if it's about that, challenging the Gold Coast's ability to two-way run, right? Is, if you put slow ball movement, it makes the midfielders look like they can two-way run because it takes time. They have the opportunity to get back, but if you challenge Matt Rao, Noah Anderson to actually run back with speed, can they do it? So it's really interesting. It'll be curious to see how Brizzy go, obviously, with less players now on the bench. Can they continue to play that higher ball movement style? But it also could work in their favour for the whole mental scars as well.
I think also that the Suns love to play that flowing surge mentality that Dimmer's trying to bring to them, but they've probably looked at, hey, if you can turn the ball over, you can get them on the counter-attack. They're probably investing too much that way, and at the moment it's paying dividends for Brisbane.
Matt Primus and Jamie Stanton, and even our text message correspondents are helping us out. Please send your name and where you're texting from if you want to send a message, 0437 774 774. Yes, the A-League Melbourne Derby's going to penalties. Thank you on the SMS. If you want to keep sending me the scores of that, apart from having thoughts on the game, we're welcome to them. 22 points to lead to Brisbane. Second quarter's underway. Witts gets the tap at the centre bounce for the Suns, but Neil is the roving for Brisbane. Hands it to McCluggage. Short kick is marked by Dunkley, just forward of the bullseye. Not a deep clearance there for the Lions, but now Dunkley does kick deep, and Hipwood leads. Andrew makes the spoil for the Suns. It spills out the back. Fiorini couldn't get onto it. Here's a chance for Harry Sharp with the banana bender. Outside of the right boot from the right forward pocket. Sharp shooting indeed to give the Lions a 28-point lead. Brisbane, 6 goals, 5-41 to Gold Coast, 2-1-13. And Harry Sharp, who was the sub, then came into the starting team with that injury to Starcevic. He kicks his first goal of the season.
And look at the excitement of him. His teammates are getting all around him. And as your coaches always say to you, be prepared. You never know what's going to happen. Well, he has been prepared. He's come on. He's had an impact. And what a way to start his second quarter. And great composure. You know, had a bit of pressure and knew to put the ball, a bit of a check side banana kick and a beautiful finish.
It's funny, that goal only comes about, though, from the point you were making earlier, Maddie, around the stoppage. It's like Dunkley sneaks out the back because Noah Anderson is the sweepers coming through the stoppage going, yeah, we're going to win, we're going to surge, and then all of a sudden he's got to run the other way. So really interesting battle happening in the midfield.
Neil and Dunkley at 21 disposals between them, Anderson and Rao 10, as the Lions come out of the middle again with McCluggage. That's a bit of a floater towards right half forward. Hipwood did well, led McAndrew to the ball and basically tapped it to his own advantage. Gathers, wheels around onto the left. Danaher in front. It was a wobbler, but in the forward line. You play in front, that can happen. Oh dear, he's played on. He's played on. He's 30 metres out directly in front, played on, curled it around the corner and kicked it out of bounds on the full. It was a sack of a kick. And another wasted opportunity there for Brisbane. They're leading this by 28 points as Jamie Stanton puts her head in her hands.
That is among the greatest misses in the history of Australian football.
Well, no understatement there, though.
I didn't think I was going over the top, Michael. That
Not
is
at all.
That missed by 15 metres to the left point post.
That was mis-executed, and the brain matter has almost come out of the top of his head as well. Wow. Lions go back inside attack. What does that say about Joe Danaher? We'll get your thoughts in a moment. Miller's got it for the Suns. It's Hampar stolen by Neil. 50 out, Lockie. Neil snaps to the goal mouth. Oh. And here he is marking in the goal mouth. Joe Danaher. He gets immediate chance to redeem himself. Listen to the gabber. He kicks the goal. And the big fella smiles. After one of the most embarrassing moments of his career, he must have to let it go. No wonder he chooses this song. The Suns are getting a flogging, though, in Q Clash 26 so far. 7-5, 47 to 2-1-13.
Yeah, they are, and it's their back line at the start of this second quarter, just losing far too many one-on-ones, and normally they're rock solid in that aspect, but the Brisbane forwards, whether it's their talls or smalls, are certainly all over the Suns' backs, one-on-one or two-on-twos. And a couple of great finishes, but geez, he'd be thankful that he was able to redeem himself after 30 seconds there, because that would have been playing on his mind for another 5 or 6 minutes or longer, perhaps, if he didn't get that opportunity.
Matty, at what point does your forwards coach come out and say to you, kick on your right foot, mate? Maybe it'll take some mental issues off you. Like, God, Joe, come on.
Game high, 34 points the margin. 3.5 gone second term. It's getting out of hand for the Suns in Q Clash 26. It is a clearance to Brisbane. Mark taken there by Jared Berry in front of Atkins, who went forward on the mark. Very unlucky not to give away a 50. Berry goes very long inside 50. Mac Andrew spoils. Front and square, McCluggage couldn't quite pick it up. Anderson did. Handball back to Tuke Miller. His floating kick towards the wing, getting there. First was Froggy Lester, the veteran, sliding as he takes a chest mark. Bites off a little 15-metre kick towards the corridor to McCluggage. They've cut off the leading lanes so far, the Gold Coast Suns. McCluggage goes further into the corridor, making his way Down there all the way is Connor McKenna. Oh, and he's turned the ball over, but it's going to come back with interest because Harris Andrews has the ball just beyond centre wing.
Yeah, the kick was smothered. Tom Berry kicks to the middle of the ground, but Andrews picks up, shares the ball with Neil. Neil chips short to Sharp, who's on the wing. Infield kick back to Connor McKenna, so here's a chance to redeem himself now. And immediately kicks infield to Zorko. Marks uncontested, defensive side of the bullseye. Kicks straight down the barrel of the corridor. Marked at centre half forward by Dunkley. Hand pass to McCluggage. Runs to 40, doesn't go for goal. Oh, that's a poor chip pass. Close he gets in front of the leading Lohmann to take the mark for the Suns. Clearing kick to right half back and beyond. It's marked by Ainsworth of Gold Coast. Will play on with no one around him. His kick looking for King. Makes the spoil on Payne. Payne gets a free kick for over the shoulder. And big Baywatch, the man from Noosa, Jack Payne, with the free kick in the left half-back flank.
Well, he goes backwards inside the defensive 50, right on the arc. Harris Andrews takes a juggler, kicks it to centre half-back to find Connor McKenna. He's just looking to his right. He finds Lockneil, who's made his way back to right half-back, and now he takes off. Past the man on the mark, looking towards Darcy Gardner, flying
he's gone
over
down with
the
a
top.
knee.
And Charlie Ballard's flown over the top of Darcy Gardner. It's happened right in front of us. Q's called it. His right knee has collapsed underneath him. This is carnage here for Brisbane so far. This could be the fourth player they have lost. As Darcy Gardner throws his head back, the trainer is looking at him. It's dead set right in front of us here in the ABC commentary box.
Non-contact, bracing his body with his right knee, trying to slow down, and the right knee gave way.
He's still there, still down. Sorry, Matt Promise.
Oh, that's right. Just all as Q mentioned, all that force when you try to stop, you knew the ball was coming over the back, tried to stop, and the force going through your knee. Very innocuous, as you said, Q, but and he knew straight away it doesn't look good at all.
No, he's holding on to the right knee. He's got his right hand just on his forehead. He's obviously in a bit of pain. Zane Bojak's on the boundary.
Oh, look, the question's got to be asked. 2-5 for the season. If they get beaten, if they win tonight, will it really matter with the number of injuries? Can Brisbane even withstand a comeback in this season?
Well, the applause is for Darcy Gardner, who has got up, but he's got his arms around a trainer and a physio on either side of him. He can't put any weight on that right leg. He won't be coming back, I dare say.
Let's go to a couple of guys who know what it's like to have knees done. Matt, Jamie?
Yeah, well, the way I'm looking at it, and we hate to preempt what's going on, but it's the
classic mechanism.
It's the classic mechanism, and he's thinking,
the ACL.
Oh, I've done this and I'm off. You have pain for about 2 seconds and then it disappears, but you know your knee wasn't meant to move that way. And
what about you, Jamie?
Oh, it's a sinking feeling. You know exactly what you've done. You know exactly what the rehab looks like. It's quite interesting to think of it now holistically from a club standpoint and Brisbane this season with knees. Potentially Link McCarthy this game, Darcy Gardner now. They've got a couple already on their list that have happened either this year, last year.
Kitty Coleman, Tom Duday this year, Will Ashcroft last year.
It's a lot of the time, especially in the men's game, because the ratio isn't as high in the female game, it's sometimes got to do with the strength and conditioning side of things and maybe a tweak they've done over the past couple of years and not doing enough, we call it in the female space, prep to play. I don't know what the men's space call it, but I wonder if it's an S&C style thing now from the club's perspective, because that's abnormal amount of knee injuries within a very short space of time.
He's walking freely. This is the classic dangerous. ACL mechanism. Massive pain, and then you can walk. Zane, he's not far from you.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing, Hugh. And look, Link McCarthy, he's on the bench there, and he's had his head down the whole time. He's actually got a wry smile on his face because he's just thinking, how is this possible that maybe our season is just disintegrating in front of us and we're actually beating our main rivals?
Meanwhile, plays back underway. Suns have got it at left half back. Andrew Ham passes infield to Lukosius, through Rao to Miller, all by hand now to Flanders, who has to kick them out of there. From the left half back flank, a high kick, and Andrews in a 2-on-2 takes a wonderful contested mark for Brisbane. Kicks infield, marked by Zorko. Zorko completes the transfer out to the Stanley Street side, marked by Lester. He kicks it back infield on the 45. Looking for Sharp. Sharp can't mark. He's tackled and will ball it up.
Well, the crowd's a bit stunned now, Q. You can feel it. You can actually feel the tension.
The Lions' second halves have been very poor when they've had their full complement. They're going to be running on fumes after half-time tonight. Miller gets the hand pass clear for the Suns to Tom Berry. Got it on to Graham. Tackled by Jared Berry. Spillage to Closey of the Suns. Kicks it inside 50. Andrews meets it first for Brisbane. Hand pass to Fletcher. Hands it on to... I'm thinking Froggy. What's his name? Lester. McKenna then receives the hand pass at left half back. Zorko picks it up. Here's Chip around the boundary line. Not great. At the feet of Sharp, and eventually the ball goes out of play for a boundary throw-in. It's our local game, and we can get a bit loose sometimes. I thought I'd better give his
real name?
His proper name. Lester, of course. Meanwhile, Brisbane lead the game by 34 points, 10 minutes into the second quarter.
Umpire's going to throw it in on the outer side between the wing and right half forward for the Gold Coast. McInerney slaps it down into the path of Dunkley. Immediately claimed by Graham on one side, Rowell on the other. And the two young tough nuts conspire to get Dunkley to the ground. Umpire comes in, throws it up very quickly. Witts got it forward. Anderson rove nicely. Handball to Rowell onto the left foot inside 50. Harris Andrews.
I was just going to mention, Price, that 3 times now Walter's looking for the ball out the back. He's thinking the ball's flowing and there's no pressure and I'll just get an easy one out the back. And 3 times Andrews has watched the ball and marked it in front of him and started their counter-attack. He's got to get better at that.
The young man's got to get in front. Is that what you're saying, Matty Primus?
Well, I understand that there's pressure on the ball and make it a contest. Harris Andrews just had taken 3 uncontested marks.
Lions move it down the outer wing. Jared Berry with the mark. Just forward of that interchange bench, which has been humming with activity for the Lions. Berry kicks inside 50. Andrews too tall there. Is over the head of Rayner and Mac. Andrew takes the mark in the right back pocket for the Suns. Kicks infield. Flanders marks just forward of full back. Short pass marked by Collins. Collins with a short pass to left half back for Fiorini. They've moved it out of defence comfortably. Fiorini hands it to Miller. Miller hands it to the wing for Tom Berry. Right to tackle of Payne. His hand pass is put off though. Stolen by Cameron of Brisbane. Hands it through Wilmot to Lohman. Lohman hands it to McKenna and he kicks backwards conservatively. Zorko marks forward of right half back. Kicks infield on the 45, marked by Dunkley on the edge of the centre square. Kicks it to the bullseye, marked by Jared Berry. Berry's transfer is intercepted. He was looking for Hipwood, stolen by Holman. Hand passes to the running Lukosius off defence. He kicks it to half forward, marked by David Swallow. The bad in excess cover, the original Sun. Kicks it long wide to the half forward flank, and Walter takes the mark. Walter takes the mark, 30 from goal.
I was better by him then. He was going out the back but realised then they were held up and he came back to the ball and a beautiful kick to be able to get in the air, an easy mark for him against a smaller opponent. Better forward craft than by Walter.
First time too he hasn't played on Harris Andrew all night, so
yeah, that helps.
You actually get a chance at it.
So Jed Walter, Gold Coast product, Palm Beach Currumbin Lion. Now the Lion is his enemy tonight. Needs to kick a goal to stem the flow for the Suns, who trail this one early by 34. Right foot drop punt hits the post, near side. Behind. 33 the difference. Brisbane 7-5-47 to Gold Coast 2-2-14. Thanks to Teresa and Beck who send me the text. Melbourne Victory won the A-League in the shootout. 3-2 in the penalties. Melbourne Victory 3. Melbourne City 2 on penalties.
So the Lions bringing the ball out of defence. Dane Zorko got it over to Darcy Wilmot. He's just looking left and going back right, but now he peels back off to the left. It's a long kick just short of centre wing outer side, looking for Rayner. Rayner battled his way into front position, dropped the mark. Noah Anderson in there as well. Rayner just gets himself back involved and won the ball out for Brisbane. Got it out to Harry Sharp, off a step, Danaher in front, couldn't quite take the mark. At the rear, picked up by Sam Collins, the looping handball towards the benches, picked up by Flanders. His handball now, it goes over to Rowell, tackled off it there by Lockneil. Ball spills into the arms of Jared Berry. He's tackled, it's a free kick, Gold Coast. They don't like it at the Gabba crowd over the other side, but Sam Flanders will take the free kick on centre wing.
A very short kick infield to Noah Anderson. Best and fairest winner at the Suns last year. Anderson with a long right foot kick to centre half forward, doesn't carry to Tom Berry, and Hipwood at CHB rather than CHF. takes the mark for the Lions.
You don't often see Anderson mess up an inside 50 kick, but that was a very poor one.
Well, Hipwood's kick's a bit of a grubber around the edge of the centre square, picked up by Fiorini of the Sun. His hand pass turned over, stolen by Sharp of Brisbane. Hands it to Wilmot, hand pass to Jared Berry. Kick around his body, marked by McCluggage, a kick and a half from goal. Sets Brisbane into attack, puts a pass on the head of Rayner. Reid makes the spoil for the Suns. Roved by Anderson, but his hand passed it straight to Danaher. 55 out, snaps at the goal mouth. Lohman loses his man, wins the ball, snaps on goal, and it's marked on the goal line by Closey. And he quickly releases. Hold on.
Ump's called for a review.
So the umpire has called for a review. If this is not a score, Gold Coast has been denied a chance to ping from the back line.
Q, I think they've actually called it a behind already without the review. I think they called it behind first.
Well, if they've done that, that's fine, Jamie. Well, no, we're getting a still of Closey with the ball beyond. But he has marked that in the field of play by a mile. And now the umpires, because of the review, have denied Gold Coast a chance to release from the half-back line.
It's called a behind. Because he juggled. They reckon he juggled it, Q, and it was... Geez, it wasn't that conclusive on the video from what we could see. But
have I misread that?
They reckon he's juggled.
What do you reckon, Jamie?
No, I don't think you have. I think the AFL's misread how to do a score review process.
Written and authorised by Jamie Stanton here. Long kick, just short of centre wing. No, I'm with you, Jamie, as well. Q's absolutely astounded as Will Graham receives the ball. He's dumped into the deck. On the outer side, there'll be a ball up. Just got to pull this stat out. The Lions are leading the marks category 63-20. That's plus 43. We haven't hit half time yet. Can't get their hands on the ball, the Gold Coast. It's kicked forward by Ainsworth, short of centre wing. Contested mark not taken by Reid. At the back, McInerney slipping it forward. Morris, handball over to Sharp. Handball Danaher. They're inside 50. McCluggage wheels around onto his right. Good vision. He hits Rayner. That is a beautiful kick from Hugh McCluggage. Rayner takes the mark 40 out directly in front.
Oh, the ball movement of Brisbane at the moment is elite, but Gold Coast are acting like traffic cones. And Q, you spoke about in the pre-game that, you're worried about the youth. It's the experienced midfielders that are doing it, that are not showing the way at all. It's quite interesting. Will Graham's having a crack as a midfielder in there. He's young, but Miller, Rao, Anderson, nowhere near an opponent right now.
Anderson and Rao, 17 disposals. Lockneil's got 16 on his own as Rayner comes in from 40 metres out. Cam Rayner pulls it left, one behind. 7-7-49 plays 2-2-14. It is a 35-point margin. That's a game high. 17 gone, second term, ABC Sport.
And if you're late to the game, Starcevic laid out calf. Ainsworth out, concussion. Right knee concern for Lincoln McCarthy. Right knee concern for Darcy Gardner. Debut for Bruce Reville. Debut for Logan Morris, who was out of the squad, came in as a sub and is now playing because of all those injuries. Yet Brisbane lead the game by 35 points. And again, the Suns turning over on the kick from half-back. Lester takes the mark in the pack on the wing. Chips it backwards to Zorko. He marks and chips short to Wilmot. True centre half-back, just beyond the painted 50 at the school end. And no one's on the mark for Darcy Wilmot. He runs around young Rogers, gets to the middle of the ground and chips it to Lohman. Hits the gold line of his chest between the bullseye of the centre square and centre half forward. Lohman's long injection looking for Cameron in the pocket. He's got Andrew against him. Neither get a touch. It bounces and goes out of play with a throw-in to be affected with the Lions in attack. Zane Bojack on the boundary.
Q, I've had a few people texting me saying, is it something with the surface with all these knees? But as you said earlier this week on local radio, with so many finals tilts, I think they just haven't got enough pre-season conditioning over the last few years.
Well, that could be it. Offhand, Sam Flanders roves it for the Gold Coast. Under a lot of pressure, he kicks it towards the centre wing on the outer side. Tom Berry did well, slapped it forward into the path of David Swallow, the experienced one, kicks it straight down the throat of Connor McKenna. He takes off the Irishman. It's a little 9-iron. That's a beautiful kick. And finds Harry Sharp forward to centre wing on the Stanley Street side of the ground. He wheels onto his right foot, kicks long towards the goal square. Offhands, Gold Coast have the numbers, but Flanders tracks the ball over the boundary line in the forward pocket. We'll get a throw in.
Pricey, you mentioned about the marks. It's a bit of Brisbane's pressure, but the Suns have had 61 kicks and 62 handballs, so they're going 1 for 1. So they're inviting the pressure of Brisbane, and that's where they're really breaking down with being able to get the ball in their forward half.
Henry from Melbourne texting, he reckons that the Closey mark was touched off the boot and then crossed the
there
line.
You go. Thank you for that.
Good on you, Henry. Thank you for that text. 0437 774 774. So, yeah, with the advantage of that thank you, that helps clear it up because, yeah, certainly we were confused like a lot of the big crowd here as to why that was called a behind. Stoppage deep in the goal mouth. Strong tackle from Graham on Lohman to ensure that we'll have a ball up in the goal mouth. Isn't it great when you've got such wonderful listeners? That's why you play such an important role. 0437 774 774 as Graham tries to clear from that stoppage, but this time Lohman plays tackler. It's the reverse role and it's another stoppage.
Plus 46 in disposals now, Brisbane as well. They're just owning the footy. It's balled up just to the edge of the goal square. Once again, Rayner gets involved, picks it up and he's tracked it over the boundary line with Noah Anderson hanging off like his shirt tails over the boundary line. We'll get another throw in. Left forward pocket for Brisbane. 35 points the margin. They lead this. 20 minutes gone in the second term on ABC Sport. The throw in. Hit down by Witts. Rayner exploded onto the contest. Picked it up beautifully. Shrugged a tackle. Got the handball off to Hipwood who dropped the ball. It stuck under a couple of players. Will Graham taken to the ground by Lockneil. 35 metres out directly in front of goal and the umpire throws it up quickly.
McInerney beats Witts for the tap. Neil can't get a clean handle. Ball still on the deck. Flanders picks up for the Suns. He flums out a handball which is stolen by the Lions. Zorko kicks to the goal mouth. Lukosius comes to spoil the pack. Ball on the deck, 30 from the Lions goal. Oh, Lukosius' clearance. He's kicked it straight to Bruce Reville. He snap on goal with not quite the penetration. Marked by Flanders at the front of the goal mouth. He chips it short to Ballard. Ballard chips it wide to Ainsworth, and that's the sound. They're already into it. It's Bruce.
That's right. I got a text from my daughter who's at the game. Said, why are they booing number 38? They're not booing him. It's Boo Earns. It's Bruce. It's the same thing. Kick down the outer side. Slapped down by McInerney in front of the path of Dunkley. He tapped it to Jasper Fletcher, who tried to go the 1-2 there with Cam Rayner, and the ball went over the boundary line at left half forward for Brisbane. There's a bit of a hum around the ground. 35 points the margin, 20 gone in the second term, but the Lions have lost 4 players, 1 pre-game and 3 to injury throughout the game. Starcevic pre-game with a calf, then McCarthy with a knee, Answorth with some concussion, and then Darcy Gardner with another suspected knee. Ball's thrown up on the outer side. McLuggage now with the clearance. Hooks it around just to the top of the 50. It bounces over the head of Ballard. Now it's free. Here's a go. Roved by Logan Morris. First goal in AFL footy. Look at the young man go. They jump all over him. It's the 8th goal for the Lions, and they are celebrating hard with Logan Morris, the 18-year-old, in the left forward pocket.
Brendan from Preston, text of the year. Did Logan Morris play a full game already this afternoon? Just looked on the stats. The Suns flogged the Lions in the VFL. Logan Morris, 13 possessions, 1 goal. Someday, big fella.
Nicely
He's playing a second game for the day.
And he's kicked his first goal in footy. The Lions, 8-7-55, leading the Suns 2-2-14. It is now a 41-point margin, game high, 22 gone, second term, ABC Sport.
That's absolutely huge from the kid. But what I'm really interested in at the moment is watching the Brisbane Lions forward structure. The key forwards, they're actually separating themselves and putting themselves in pretty much these like isolated silos around the whole ground. And even just before with the stoppages that was going on, Oscar McInerney's coming into the forward 50 to take the ball ups, and Hipwood and Danaher are off to the sides playing like a secondary role. It's quite interesting forward structure at the moment.
Jamie Stanton with you on ABC Sport. No clearance from the stoppage in the middle. 23 minutes second term. Brisbane lead by 41 points. Rowell gets a clearance for the Suns. Bangs it to half forward. Leicester back with the float, almost marked. Clattered into by Reid. Ball spills free. Roved by Wilmot of Brisbane. Hand passes to Neil. Hands it to Berry. Jarrod, the elder thereof, kicking right to the half-back flank, looking for Reville. Spoiled by Closey. Reville and Closey. Reville ran over the ball. Closey picks it up for the Suns. Hand pass to Ainsworth. Hand pass eventually got to Graham. Darren Berry makes the tackle. Hand pass comes back to Ainsworth. 60 out. Rushed entry is deep. Floating across the front of the pack. Lukosius can't mark. Robes his own crumbs. Hand pass to Reid. Tackled by Neil. Ball up. Ball up. 20 metres out from the Suns' goal.
Yeah, there's the difference, isn't it? Flowing ball inside Brisbane's forward 50 where the Suns are just harassed. Every possession was harassed by Brisbane.
Umpire throws it up. Witts taps it to the top of the goal square, getting their first Leicester for Brisbane. His handball semi-cut off by Jake Rogers. Stuck underneath him. He taps it out now. Lukosius off a step. Lukosius hooks it around and to the left of the goalpost, one behind. So the Suns, their first score since the 12-minute mark of this quarter is a behind. 55 plays 15. It's a 40-point margin.
Zorko with a long inbound. Beautiful kick. Wilmot marks uncontested beyond D50 at left half back. Kicks it infield. Jared Berry takes the mark. 40 points the lead to Brisbane, but this is like watching Pride of Jenny, because she's so far out in front of him, you wonder, are the others going to catch up? Because Brisbane's second halves have been terrible and they got no one on the bench.
Having to give it too much of a head start, have they?
Well,
Q?
She's a marvel, Pride of Jenny.
Yep.
But just what will the story be in this Q clash? Because Brisbane has no reserves and
there's no doubt
they have fallen over in their second halves this year.
And they're trying to play a bit slower. Kick mark, they're not playing on as crazy as they were in that first quarter, trying to save a bit of their legs.
Here's Zorko, he keeps going, runs through centre half back, long kick to Wilmot, beautiful kick. Wilmot in space, marks on the wing, chips it to Danaher. 2 kicks from goal, takes the mark, spoons a high ball to half forward, expecting Morris to get to that, but Swallow's in front. David Swallow takes the mark for the Suns on the right half-back flank. It's Brisbane by 40 points.
Long kick to shorter centre wing out of side. Payne did beautifully. Got rid of the young man, Ethan Reid, easily with the body. Took the mark. Goes back towards the corridor to find Jared Berry. His kick, oh, well, that's central. That's beautiful to Lockneil. The handball off to the runner McLuggage. Got tackled. The kick was affected. Scooped up by Atkins inside defensive 50. His handball to Closey. He drops a nice kick into the path of Ainsworth. Ben Ainsworth for the Gold Coast. Will Powell kept running. Received the handball. Now it's to Lukosius. 80 from goal. Wheeling around onto his right foot. It's a long kick. King at the back. Well done from Payne in the front position. Front and square, Zorko hacks it out of mid-air. Will Powell did beautifully with his body. Couldn't take the mark. At the back, Closey. Off one step. Back into the danger zone. It's all Brisbane. Not taken there, but rove by Zork. His kick straight down the throat of his mortal enemy in Tuke Miller. 45 out. Slight angle to the left, and Zorko's just shaking his head. Boy, that would burn him.
That would burn him, especially if he kicks it. Pricey.
Well, he's had 21 touches, Dane Zorko. Played in more Q clashes than any other. The one thing he hasn't done in this game, win a Marcus Ashcroft medal. He's kicked it to the bloke who's won the most in 4.
So Tuke Miller got a well-registered rivalry. Gets to the paint of 50. It's a nice-looking kick. It peels left, one behind. 55-16, 39-point margin in favour of Brisbane.
Yeah, Lukosius has swung forward and David Swallow's gone back. So Damien Harvey's obviously looking for somebody to try and win the ball in their forward 50 or somebody to kick it nicely inside 50.
Now, Lions taking them in small pieces, Matt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chip marks.
Yep.
To get to left half back from the inbound. Sharp, the latest chips to Dunkley. So that went up the corridor once, twice, thrice, and then flared to the flank once and twice. And now Dunkley's getting a 50-metre penalty because Graham, I think it was, over the mark.
Yeah, 86 to 28 marks. You can see their style of play.
So Dunkley marched, well, to Blight torpedo range. He won't go for it. Hand passes to Neal. Runs to 55. Chips to the pocket. Leading out Hipwood. Roves the pack. Hand passes to Rayner in the pocket. Breaks a tackle. Runs infield. Hand passes to Jared Berry. Tackled. Got rid of it with a hand pass to Fletcher. Fletcher's tackled. Got rid of it. Picked up by Danaher. Flips a hand pass over his head. Hoping for McLuggage. Or Reveal. It's McLuggage. He's hassled off it. Keeps going. Collins is on hands and knees there. Walter comes in to help out to lock it up for the Suns. Baller. 25 metres from Brisbane's goal. Lions 8-7-55. Suns 2-4-16.
Umpire throws it up very quickly. Off the hands of Witts into the arms of Tuke Miller. Just hooks it out of there. It's read beautifully by Jack Payne. Got the handball forward to Darcy Wilmot. Tackled by Tom Berry of the Gold Coast into the ground. 70 from goal. There will be a ball up. The crowd have adopted Bruce Reveal immediately. He's become a cult hero. Every time he gets the ball, it's the hoots of Bruce. Got to love that. Umpire throws it up at left half forward for Brisbane. It slaps straight towards the boundary line. Zork's appealed for a deliberate.
Yep.
I got it. Smile back on Dane Zorko's face. 80 from goal. Long kick now towards the pocket. Danaher cleared out the pack. Off hands Lohman. Couldn't quite get it. Went over the boundary line. I thought Jared Witts might have been stiff not to get a free kick there. But it will be a throw in the left forward pocket for Brisbane.
Already I'm looking at the fixture to see when Hawthorn play Brisbane. And if we get Bruce and
a pair of Bruce and a Bruce. Nice.
39 points the lead to Brisbane. About a minute left in this dramatic first half. McInerney taps it boundary side with the Lions in attack. Rode by Dunkley, hand pass to Zorko. Snap from the left forward pocket. Just misses near side. A point to the Zork. Brisbane 8-8-56. Gold Coast 2-4-16.
So the Gold Coast with 3 behinds in this quarter to the Lions. 3 goals, 3. Long kick from the Coasters just short of centre wing. It's going to come back again. Wilmot attacked as he kicked the ball. He's taken it out of bounds on the full. It'll be a free kick. It'll go to Atkins for the Gold Coast at right half back.
Speaking of the Hawks, they beat the Dogs by 7 points earlier today, if you missed that result.
Atkins, the long left foot, just beyond centre wing. Payne nudges his man in King underneath the ball. It's going to result in Brisbane taking it away through Wilmot. He speeds away. Long kick at the back of the pack. Collins couldn't take it. Danaher taps it forward. Free kick called on the play. It's a hold or a Shepherd, one of the two. It's going to go to Will Power by the looks of things. It was held off it by Charlie Cameron as Danaher tried to do his thing. He's going to get a free kick in the right back pocket for the Suns. They're trailing by 40 points with 30 minutes gone of the second term.
So the narrative is Brisbane's only second half that they won this year was the gather round second half against North Melbourne. And they've got 2 fresh men on the bench, having lost Gardner, McCarthy and Ainsworth through the game. And the late change with Morris coming in because of the calf injury to Brandon Starcevic in the warm-up. Ball's on the outer side, stoppage. Lockie Neal comes through, drop the ball, holding the ball. Play on. Anderson runs away for the Suns. Balks his way around an opponent. His injection is too late to change the score of a dramatic first half. The Q Clash 26. Brisbane have extended their lead from 22 points at quarter time to now be 40 points in front at half time. In that term, the Lions kicked 3 goals, 3 to Gold Coast's 3 behinds. Brisbane 8-8-56 to Gold Coast's 2-4-16. Darcy Gardner kicked 2 goals before leaving the field with what looks like a right ACL injury. He crumbled right in front of us, had pain, then walked off. All the classic mechanisms there. Our thoughts are with him, but it doesn't look good. Joe Danaher has 2 goals as well, having had 2 of the most horrid misses you'd ever like to see. He kicked a brilliant one from 55 out on the right half forward flank and then got a soda from the goal square. Jared Berry's kicked a goal. Kai Lohman's kicked a goal. Harry Sharp's kicked a goal. And Logan Morris, who played in the VFL earlier today where the Suns won handsomely over the Lions. He kicked a goal and had 13 stats in that game. He's called in to play seniors for the first time and he's kicked a goal today as well. What a day for him. So they're the goal kickers for Brisbane. And Gold Coast's 2 are unchanged from quarter time where Ben King kicked the 2 goals. So scoreline's 8-8-56 to 2-4-16. And just going through that list of occurrences again. Starcevic out in the warm-up with a calf. Morris goes from emergency to sub. Sharp goes from sub to playing. McCarthy goes down with the right knee. Morris comes into the game as sub. Answorth had the right knee of Jed Walder put through the back of his scon in an attempt to mark. He's out with concussion. And then Darcy Gardner goes down with his right knee. So there is still 2 on the bench for Brisbane, but their second halves have been horrid. They're down men, but they're flogging the Suns right now. Try and explain it all, Matt Primus and Jamie Stanton.
I think the good thing, Q, is their backs have had a hell of a lot of rest. You know, it's plus 18 inside 50, so the ball spent a lot of time in their forward 50, and when it does that, your backs do bugger all work. They just can set up and get some easy marks. So they haven't done a huge amount of work. So that would be something in the kit bag. They're also coming off a 10-day break. from their last game. So, yes, the Suns actually got to try and make them defend and kick the ball, spread them over the field, get some uncontested marks. Plus 60 uncontested marks. I've never seen a domination like that. Even Hawthorn in their heyday when they just kicked the ball through everybody. That's just unbelievable. So the Suns need to get to work outside the stoppages and the contested ball. And I'm sure that'd be Dimmer's. He can throw some magnets around and those sorts of things. But unless they want to work hard when they've got ball in hand, they're a long way off getting back into this game where Fags would just be thrilled with the effort when they don't have the ball, and obviously they've still got a bit of class through the middle of the ground, and their on-ballers are dominating the Suns so far.
You want to throw another stat around. It's really interesting. Like, they clearly haven't had the ball because Brisbane's, marking it every minute of the game, clearly. But the tackle stat, it's 30-28. So the stat shouldn't be that close if Brisbane just have the ball. It should be 60-20 tackles in favour of Gold Coast. So Brisbane are owning possession in such an effective manner that Gold Coast don't have the ability to have ball in hand. Their kicking efficiency is clearly elite. I'm not sure if it's Brisbane's elite kicking or if it's Gold Coast's lack of defensive pressure.
Combination of both, Jamie.
100%. Yeah. But watching it tonight, Gold Coast are, lack of a better word, that was atrocious. It looked like early days of Gold Coast when they first started playing, and they were all young kids.
Yep.
And, a few experienced heads playing around, and in the team. So it's funny, when a team has the wood over you, right? They've got the wood over you. So does Brisbane have the wood over Gold Coast? I don't know.
Well, the Suns won the last Q clash, which was a surprise last year, but that ended a run of 9 where Brisbane has owned this rivalry for the best part of a half decade. And then the intrigue of the injuries added to Brisbane's bad second halves. Dimmer's got something to at least sell to his, 1, embarrassment of the first half, and 2, by the way, do you want to chase down Pride of Jenny today?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to get out. Well, and this is probably the first time they've played bad football for Dimmer for a half. They've had tiny periods, but they've been pretty good so far this year. But this is the first time he's seen them be non-competitive when they don't have the ball in hand, and that would be driving him crazy because that's what he's come here to fix, not when they do have ball in hand, those sorts of things. So it'll be really interesting to see how they come out the first 10 minutes and how Brisbane absorbed that. As you say, Q, they've been really poor second halves this year.
And on that point too, even if they turn it around, is it a hollow victory because Brisbane have no one left? Is it unfortunately the selling point of good work, you were able to run down the horse that, in theory couldn't run, or is it the fact that, and Damien's going to sell it obviously in terms of, boys, you cracked in, you did your thing after half time, you got it that way, but is it a hollow victory in the end whether you win it anyway? I know 4 points in the long scheme of things is pretty important for both sides, but God, with where Brisbane's at in terms of their injury list, it's going to be a really...
I think any time you knock off the team that played in the grand final last year when you've never played finals, there's got to be something.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, but all of that is ahead of us, Jamie. Jamie Stanton and Matt Primus with you on ABC Sport at halftime, where it's Brisbane by 40 points in Q Clash 26. Thanks for your messages on the SMS. Keep them coming on 0437 774 774. Just a couple before our commitments. G'day to Eric and Barb. They're listening at Tenterfield. Good to have analogue radio reception. They've been returning from Adelaide by car. Thank you, Eric and Barb. Stan from Victoria said, if the Lions win this game, give them the cup. Done, finished. I'm astounded by them so far. Yeah. John from West Footscray questioning the Joe Danaher handball over the shoulder. He thought that you had to handball in a straight arm, not over the shoulder. G'day to Grant at Waterloo. He says, great call as usual. Go Fitzroy /Brizzy. And here's a one from Neil at Coburg. David Hale played for North Melbourne second circa 2010.
Yeah.
In the mud at Port Melbourne, then was called up when Daniel Wells did a calf in the warm-up, according to Neil at Coburg. So, there's another sort of Queenslandish story. David Hale, Queensland product.
Yes, yeah.
Premiership player.
Be interesting to see how much he played in the VFL this morning. Sometimes they do sub a guy out after 13 possessions and goal. Not all bad possessions, but still, let alone to warm up and then go and play a game and then get back in for a night game too.
By the way, that scoreline: Suns 24-13, 157 to Brisbane 11-5-71 in the VFL.
Reigning premiers.
Strong team in today.
So that was out at Springfield earlier today. So I'm not quite sure how long that Logan Morris played for, but
doesn't matter. Great.
Yeah, via the app I can see that he played. He had 13 possessions and kicked a goal in the game earlier today, and has now kicked a goal on debut. Among all of our drama in the A-League as well, after penalties, Melbourne Victory has defeated Melbourne City 3-2. Victory over City on penalties after it finished 1-1 after extra time. Earlier today, the Dockers by 9 goals over Richmond. Hawthorn defeated the Western Bulldogs by 7 points. That twilight game scoreline, Hawthorn 14-14, 98 to the Dogs, 14-7, 91. Newcastle and Cronulla Sutherland, the two victors in the NRL earlier today. Halftime at Q Clash 26. It's Brisbane by 40 points. Hope you're enjoying it on ABC Sport. We'll be back after the latest from the newsroom.
This is ABC News with David Rowlands. WA Premier Roger Cook says he's not treating last night's knife attack in Perth South as a terrorist event at this stage. A 16-year-old male was killed during a confrontation with police in the suburb of Willetton. Police say the teenager attacked people with a kitchen knife, injuring one before officers arrived. The alleged attacker is believed to have suffered from mental health issues, but was also radicalised online. Mr Cook says it's above his pay grade to label this incident as a terrorist attack, and any classification should be determined by a police investigation.
At this stage, we know that this individual acted alone, was a very troubled individual, and we will continue to make sure that we address it as a homicide incident, and the police will undertake that investigation. If they make further calls as a result of that investigation, that's up to them.
Delegations from Hamas and Israel are due to meet for a second consecutive day of talks in Cairo, aimed at securing a ceasefire and the release of the hostages in Gaza. One sticking point is the duration of any ceasefire, with Hamas wanting it to be permanent, while Israel has so far not agreed to end the war. The government of Benjamin Netanyahu is under increasing pressure at home to reach a deal, with thousands of people on the streets again this weekend, protesting against the conduct of the hostage negotiations and the war. Health officials in Gaza say nearly 35,000 people have now died in the nearly 8-month-long conflict. A scheme that allows Australians to know when their identity credentials are being accessed and prevent them from being compromised will be expanded in this month's federal budget. The government will provide an additional $11 million for a website and app to allow all Australians to identify and lock their credentials if they're being used without their consent. It'll expand a register already in use for people who had documents stolen in the 2022 Optus data breach. Attorney General Mark Dreyfus says it will disrupt cyber criminals.
If your personal details are stolen, you will be able to quickly lock down your information and protect your personal data from being used for identity crime and theft.
A group of scientists and clinicians have penned a letter calling for Queensland's Chief Health Officer to resign over his handling of the COVID pandemic. Jay Bowman reports.
The group of medical professionals and researchers from Australia and overseas have penned a letter to Queensland Premier Stephen Miles. They say Chief Health Officer Dr John Gerrard made concerning statements about the COVID pandemic, including that infection was inevitable and mild in kids, and they've called for him to resign. Queensland Health rejects that call, saying the state has one of the lowest COVID mortality rates in the world. State Labor Minister Mick de Brenny says Dr Gerrard has the government's support. He says Queensland fared better than any other jurisdiction during the pandemic. Mr Gerrard is on leave and has been contacted for comment.
Heavy rainfall is now starting to ease along Australia's eastern seaboard, but some parts of New South Wales and Queensland remain on alert. Despite a severe weather warning being cancelled in New South Wales, its Central Coast region will continue to see moderate rainfall due to a coastal trough. The Warrego River, part of the Darling catchment, has moderate flooding and will likely peak overnight. While in Queensland, moderate flooding is continuing along Eyre Creek, but is expected to ease in the coming days. Brazilian President Lula da Silva is due to visit the flood-ravaged southern state of Rio Grande do Sul later today, as forecasters warn of worsening weather and yet more rain. Nearly 60 people are known to have died in severe flooding, dozens are missing and thousands have been rescued. Communities in the state capital, Porto Alegre, have been told to leave their homes after the river flowing through the city burst its banks. Resident Victor Maravelli says the situation in the state capital is still worsening.
We are very, very afraid at the moment. It seems like a couple of the blockers have broken and water has invaded the downtown area of Porto Alegre, not only hurting and killing many, many people, but destroying hundreds of years of history.
A driver is under police guard in hospital with non-life-threatening injuries following a fatal collision in regional Victoria. Emergency services are attending the scene in Kangaroo Flat, 5 kilometres southwest of Bendigo, after a ute and a motorcycle collided this afternoon. The rider of the motorcycle, who's yet to be identified, died at the scene after the motorcycle burst into flames. Police say the circumstances surrounding the incident are not yet known. ABC News.
Patrick Stack here from ABC Sport Daily. If you like sport,
sort of everyone describes it in the peloton as the most beautiful race, and it's the race where the real cyclists come.
And great conversation.
Unfortunately for Jason Demetrio, I don't think South Sydney had much of another option but to pull the trigger.
Then I think you'll love ABC Sport Daily.
They've actually got statistics to show that he literally does try and hit most of his deliveries for 4 or 6. So it's the kind of hitting that feels very next generation.
ABC Sport Daily. Get it on the Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Fiorini couldn't get onto it. Here's a chance. Harry Sharp with the banana bender. Outside of the right boot from the right forward pocket. Sharp shooting indeed to give the Lions a 28-point lead. 50 out, Lockie Neal snaps to the goal mouth. And here he is marking in the goal mouth. Joe Danaher, he gets immediate chance to redeem himself. Listen to the gather. He kicks the goal.
Charlie Ballard's flown over the top of Darcy Gardner. It's happened right in front of us. Q's called it. His right knee has collapsed underneath him. This is carnage here for Brisbane so far. This could be the 4th player they have lost. It bounces over the head of Ballard. Now it's free. Rode by Logan Morris. First goal in AFL footy. Look at the young man go. They jump all over him. It's the 8th goal for the Lions, and they are celebrating hard with Logan Morris, the 18-year-old, in the left forward pocket.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Sunday night footy in round 8 of this 2024 season, courtesy of the peculiarity of Queensland having a public holiday tomorrow, but boy, we might need it to recover from this 26th edition of the Q Clash. Welcome back to the Gabba. Quentin Hull and the team in place on a gorgeous night. It's a stacked Brisbane cricket ground, and they've seen plenty of drama, and the majority of them happy with the scoreline at halftime because it's the Lions leading by 40 points over their rivals from down the M1. Brisbane 8-8-56 to Gold Coast's 2-4-16. Loving your messages coming in on the text line. Please send us your name and where you're texting from. 0437 774 774 is the number to get in touch. G'day to Jason and Dion. They're listening from their pancake stall at the Miami Marquetta, which I think is probably Markets. Oh. Is it called the Marquetta there?
That'll do.
Marquetta?
It is.
It is. That's a local term on the Gold Coast,
Definitely.
is it?
Miami Marquetta. It's very popular.
Very
popular.
One supports the Lions, the other supports the Suns. It could be messy, and we aren't talking about the pancake mix. Thank you to Jason and Dion. G'day to Eric from, I think that's Tudye in Western Australia. He sent us a picture of the famous branded Queensland beer, which has its brewery on Milton Road.
All of those exits.
Yeah, you can take the boy out of Queensland, but not the Queensland out of the boy. He's in WA. Good calling as usual. He's listening while having a Sunday night beverage. G'day to Mick, the grader driver. He's just coming past Alcumi Wines in the Franklin River District in WA after weekend golf at Manjimup. He's listening to you blokes. Commentary of the Q Clash. It doesn't get any better. Good on you, Mick. 0467920222. And g'day to Ralph, who says, I've listened to most of the ABC games whilst in Western Serbia. All the calls have been great. Good stuff, guys, even though my Tigers lost. Yeah, Richmond beaten by 9 goals by Fremantle earlier today. Hawthorn beat the Bulldogs by 7 points. 0-4-3-7-7-7-4.
He gets the record for the location I never expected.
Serbia?
Absolutely.
Oh, we've had some good ones.
Fantastic.
I actually got a photo of a guy listening while working in a mine in Siberia.
Nice.
Again, yeah,
not expected.
Not Serbia's different to Siberia. I know they've got similar, consonants at the start of their locations. Anyway, wherever you're listening, it's great to have your company. Matt Primus, former Port Adelaide coach and captain. Jamie Stanton, the AFLQ women's coach, current son, former Lion, former Kanga. The injury stories here: Starcevic calf in the warm-up. Knee injuries to Gardner and McCarthy in the game. Answorth out with concussion. Where to from here in this Q clash?
Well, it will be interesting. They'll be throwing some things around. There'll be obviously a bit more rotation through the midfield. That'll be the big thing, to be able to keep up their energy. As we've mentioned, the Brisbane's midfield group have been really good when they haven't had the ball and put a lot of pressure on the Suns. So they want to keep that energy up, but also keep their energy of their small forward. So perhaps, they are tall. Perhaps their talls are going to play a lot more game time, and then they'll keep spinning the wheels of the younger ones. They're pretty good at how they work their rotations. And as I said, their backs have had a lot of rest in the first half. Haven't had too much work to do with only defending 19 inside 50. So they'll be well refreshed, and they'll be hoping there'll be a lot of centre bounce wins, get it down the other end, and they can smoke the pipe, as you like to say, their Brisbane backs.
One of the busiest men in the first half was Zane Bojack with all that action on the bench. What have you got for us, Ono?
Yeah, plenty still happening, Q. So Damien Hardwick has made a tactical substitution at half-time, and he's brought in Ben Long and taken out Ethan Reid. So Reid's looking a bit dejected down here on the bench, to be honest. He's not too happy about it, but he's taking no further part in the game.
Ethan Reid, one of the kids who was big. What did I suggest?
You were all over it, Q. Yeah, both those two really didn't compete at all as tall forward, so there's a reason why he's sitting on the bench, and I'm sure the coach, if he hasn't already, given that feedback.
It's interesting now, looking just a few magnet moves already. Sam Flanders back into the middle, Closey from the wing to half back, Graham onto the wing, and Ben Long's gone forward. So he's thrown some magnets around, played a bit of confetti. But
here's your chance to get off. Both of you tip the Suns. Do you want to get off?
You allow me to jump off?
Yeah, if you, I want to.
I'm off.
You're off,
I'm
Jamie?
off.
Nah, they've played like rubbish, and Brisbane's second half's are rubbish. They're down members. I reckon they'll get over by a sneaky point.
Ooh.
Matt Rao starting the quarter on the bench too, just having a look on that as well.
So if you went with us at the start of the broadcast, both Jamie and Matt tipped the Suns, so that's why I just thought I'd ask them.
Thanks for bringing that up again, Keith.
No, well, it's a part of because part of the storyline is Brisbane's second. They have only won one second half this year, and that was against North Melbourne. So I don't think that carries a lot of weight. No disrespect to North Melbourne.
I reckon Gold Coast just had the paint stripped off their inside of that change room. I think there will be a response in some way, shape or form.
Well, the first half was a decent story. You're right to go after intermission, Pricey?
Absolutely. Let's go. It's Jared Witts versus Oscar McInerney in the middle of the Gabba. Second half underway. Another perfect bounce from the umpiring fraternity. It's slapped out there by Witts in the path of Anderson. He can't quite pick it up. Lockneil reaches in, gathers it. He's taken down, and well called, Matty Primus. It's holding the ball. Noah Anderson will get the free kick after following Lockneil down through. Now Anderson from the centre circles. It's a long right foot kick. Dangerous area. Harris Andrews got there first. It went through his hands at ground level. Suns with a chance. Long was there. Couldn't quite pick it up. Underneath there, Froggy Lester. He'll come in and he'll be over the ball. Jared Witts peels him off, and there'll be a ball up 30 metres out.
Quickly tossed in the air. McInerney over the top, but Flanders crashes through for the Suns. Fumbles to eventually gather. Hand passes to Berry in the pocket. Tom Berry's hand pass, though, was pinched by Reville of the Lions. He kicks it towards right half back. It's in out to the centre wing position in front of Hipwood. Didn't quite get to right half forward, and Hipwood sees it out of play. Bruce Reville, one of the storylines, born in PNG, 23 years of age, Category B rookie, impressed in the VFL to get a chance at senior footy. And he's got the rapper looks as well with his hair, which was a mop when he was introduced into the team in the team video saying he's getting the game, and he decided he went to the hairdresser and said, "Give me the snoop, please."
It's
the ball's back out over the boundary line. Throw in.
The cornrows, as they're called.
That's what they're called.
That's what they throw in on the outer sea. I'm hip with all of the young people. Well, more hip replacement than hip, but it goes over the top. Rowell at the back picks it up. Long kick inside 50. Ben King! Oh, he's not paid the mark. He's dropped it at the last moment. Picked up by Leicester. His clearing kick's cut off there by the Gold Coast. Sam Flanders has it on the point of the centre square at left half forward. He's gone back a long way. He's called to play on. Sneaking up behind him like a thief in the night. Lockie Neal pings him, and it's going to be holding the ball. Flanders saying, I had no idea, sir. That's exactly why he got pinged. Handball now to Zorko. Long kick to half forward. Danaher at the back. Double grabber called to play on. Apparently it touched Sam Collins' hands first. Loose forward. Miller turns it over. It's going to be a free kick. It'll go back to Turk Miller, who was dealt with harshly at left half back.
Miller at left half back with a long kick for the Suns. Out the back, King reads it well. It was a 2-on-2. King reads the drop. Takes a chest mask too far out to score. Kicks it to the pocket. Lukosius floated forward. Andrews makes the spoil and punches it over the boundary line for a throw-in.
It's got to be the most laconic AFL contest I've ever seen. Jack Lukosius in the air against Harris Andrews. They were both so relaxed.
And Andrews won the day by thumping it out. Boundary throw-in, Suns in attack. Again, McInerney beats Witts with the tap. Tommy Berry, high contact near the boundary. Free kick, yep. Harry Sharp went too high.
One umpire called play on and the other one called a free kick. Interesting interpretations from two umpires 20 metres away.
Yeah, it's where democracy, one has a higher voice.
Yep.
Tommy Berry needs to kick a goal against his old club. Tries the right foot snap from the left forward pocket. Has not curled it at all, has he? Got a point. Far side just to score. 39 the lead to Brisbane early third term on ABC Sport.
So the Lions to bring the ball back in. It's with Connor McKenna. Stabbing kick to the arc. Finds Dunkley. Dunkley back inboard. Oh, finds Zorko, who copped a little drive-by by Ben Long. And he's just, well, he made it look good too, and he's going to get a 50-metre penalty. As they retreat into the centre of the ground, Zorko's directing traffic, carrying the ball under one arm, and gets to the middle of the ground. Lowers the eyes, beautiful spearing pass, again finds Dunkley, just inside centre square. Dunkley, long kick towards the goal square. At the front, Hipwood couldn't mark it. Thumped forward for the Gold Coast. Flanders bumped off it by McLuggage. Enter Sam Collins. He bends over, picks it up. He's tackled into the ground by McLuggage. Held up. Umpire's going to ball it up 35 metres out directly in front.
Witts and McInerney tangle again. Give that one to Witts. Closey does the roving for the Suns. Toes it without great effect on the head of Rogers, who did well to try and win it from Zorko. Zorko goes again. The pair battle on at ground level. Farmed out by Flanders of the Suns. They get clear. Flanders hands it to Anderson. Quick kick to Long, couldn't mark, but rode by Tom Berry. Hand pass to Holman. In the bullseye, hand passes to centre half forward to Lukosius. Holds up, 55 out. Screws it around his body. Great running from Long. Sprinted from the centre of the ground to get to the drop of a well-placed kick. 20 out in the left forward pocket.
Yeah, great call, Q. He beat Harris Andrews in the air when the quick kick came out to the back of the square for the Suns, and then just gut run beautifully, and Lukosius has been sent forward for that decision, making the kick inside 50 outstanding.
Ben Long needs to kick this to just give the Suns a bit of impetus. It's a long road back for them. It's a road that a few teams have navigated against Brisbane this year. Long, slight angle left, 30 out, kicks the goal. Suns have got their first goal since the 26-minute mark of the first term, and we're 6 minutes into the third. Gold Coast 3 goals, 5-23, trail Brisbane 8-8-56 on ABC Sport.
Well, first time they had a win ahead of the ball, wasn't it, Jamie?
Yeah, and it's the Gold Coast role players at the moment that are stepping up in this quarter and showing, you know, the midfield and their star-studded players around the ground how to do it. Like you look at Berry Jr. and his ability to pick it up in speed and win the free kick in the corner, and yeah, he doesn't finish the play. And then you see Ben Long reading it better than Harris Andrews, and his work rate back towards goal is better. And you wouldn't say either of them are
household names. Yep.
God knows. So, and probably more come in favour with Hardwick as he's come across, which is Hardwick style, right? Role players doing their bit. So the Stars of Gold Coast need to get on board.
So 33 points the margin. 6.5 gone third term. Back into the middle of the Gabba. Beautiful night for footy for Q Clash 26. It's going to be a clearance there for Josh Dunkley. toes it off the deck. Cut off there by Will Powell. Handball to Graham now. Just does the 1-2 with Miller. Does the 1-2-3 with Rowell. Now there's slingshotting. Goes to Ainsworth. To Rogers. Back to Ainsworth by hand. Inside 50. Oh, Lukosius has put down a very difficult sliding chance. But it was all on, and that's the way the Gold Coast are going to get back into this game, by that slingshot sharing of the ball. Ball's over the boundary line. It's going to be thrown in front of the small scoreboard showing the Lions leading by 33.
Pricey, you're a nice caller. That was not a difficult sliding chance.
Oh, benefit of the doubt, mate.
Jamie Santon on ABC Sport.
Dropped a pud.
Boundary throw in. Clearance from Zorko. Tumbles it out of defensive 50 for Brisbane. He's got to be among the early contenders to win his first Marcus Ashcroft medal. That kick goes over the boundary line on the game. What's he up to, Zork? That's 27 touches. He has played in more Q clashes than anyone. He's won all accolades at Brisbane, but never a Marcus Ashcroft medal in a game which has been a taunt for him, a highlight for him. So much a part of the story of his career, the Broadbeach Cat who was overlooked by the Suns, yet has become a champion up the M1. From the stoppage, McAndrew has a slip at half-back for the Suns. He's got help though. Atkins picks it up. Hands it to Rowell, tackled by Dunkley. Hand turnover. Sharp plays onto advantage. Hand pass to McCluggage, who has a bounce at 50. Runs to 40. Steadies. Shoots. Misses. Near side. Oh, he almost stumbled. He couldn't realise he was running in so much space. A .34 the lead to Brisbane. Zane on the boundary.
Q, if Zork's won the medal, wouldn't it be nice if the man who's won it the most times got to present it to him?
Doubt that will happen.
Yeah, don't. Well, boy, I'd love to see it happen, though. That'd be funny. As Will Powell goes long down the outer wing, off hands from Ben King, rove by Rowell. He got there first, but then he attracted a lot of attention. The ball stuck underneath he and Lockneil. It's kicked back towards the boundary line. It's going to beat all comers over there, and we'll get a throw in just between wing and right half forward for the Brisbane Lions, leading this one by 34 points at the moment. They've lost a number of players across the first half, 3 in fact, and 1 pre-game to injury. Came off hands, and Noah Anderson tracks it back towards the same spot. We'll have another throw in at right half forward for Brisbane.
10-4 in the contest all over the ground, so the Suns have lifted their work rate and their intensity at the drop of the ball, and that's holding them in the game anyway for the first 10 minutes.
Attentive Sunday night crowd. Long weekend Sunday here in Brisbane. We might just have the biggest ever Q Clash crowd if they crack 27,000. That's the record from the throw in left half back for the Suns, won by Rowell. Hands it to Anderson. Hand pass put his big man Witt under pressure. Tapped it cleverly to Fiorini. Tumbles along the ground to Flanders. Executed well. Here's the kick from Flanders to a pack on the wing. Goes to Deck. Picked up by Walter. Hand pass ricochets to Miller. Miller's hand pass to the space at half forward. Picked up by Flanders. Hands it to Holman. Runs to 50. Space in front of him. Doesn't go for goal. Spears the pass to King. Marks at 35 out directly in front.
Massive play from Ben Long there. He's been a real good injection into this second half. It's funny, his playing style is really required in this moment, and he's bringing everything for the Suns right now.
Ben King's already got 2 goals. This to make it 2 in a row for the Suns to start the third term. Not a difficult assignment for a man paid to kick goals. Right foot kick. He salutes with a fist clench as soon as he strikes it with his right. Suns with the first 2 of the second half. What was a 40-point lead at half-time to Brisbane is reduced to 28 points at 4-5-29 to Brisbane's 8-9-57.
And just work rate. They won that stoppage, and both Gold Coast Suns mids helped out with their forwards and able to get the link-up handball just purely by work rate, where Brisbane were doing that in the first half. And that's not an interchange thing. That's just an effort and intensity early in this third quarter.
And there's the less speculative handball going on at the moment. They're actually looking where they're handballing and dishing it to a person that's, in front of their hips and shorts type things, so that they can see them running past. A lot in the first half, they were either trying to handball over their head or over the shoulder to somebody where they were taking a guess if they were there. It seems like the runner is coming through to support these contested situations at the moment a lot more.
Gold Coast plus 19 in disposals this quarter and 6 inside 50s to 3, and they'll get this clearance again through Rowell. He couldn't quite take it with him though. Cut off by Connor McKenna. His kick towards half forward. through the hands of Closey after he dealt with Lohman. Picked up by Ballard. His kick towards the boundary line. Going back there was Graham. In there with Bruce Reville. You can hear by the crowd reaction off the hands of both over the boundary line for a throw in.
What's King kick for the year now? He'd be up close, Coleman medal.
So he's now 22 goals for the year. 22-8 in fact.
Boundary throw in, give that one to McInerney, but Rowell at the contest, wins the ball, gets tackled immediately. And the ump's giving him a while to get rid of it, and he does. Comes out Brisbane's way. Jared Berry, hand pass out the back to Fletcher. Fletcher at right half forward, hand pass to Reville. Bruce from 60, kicks to the pocket. Ballard intercepts, couldn't complete the mark. Hipwood hand passes towards the goal mouth. He's hand passed it through for a point. Rushed score to Brisbane. The Lions are 8 goals, 10-58 to Gold Coast's 4-5-29.
So the Gold Coast looking to bring the ball back in relatively quickly. It's Will Powell. Flares right. The kick very close to the boundary line. Taken there by David Swallow at right half back. I think the crowd were actually hoping that was out of bounds on the full. They're giving the boundary umpire plenty as Swallow kicks it towards the wing. Ben King and Jack Payne, that was a draw. Both got their hands to it. It's towed out of the pack. Picked up by Darcy Wilmot and handball to Harris Andrews. Laconic kick into the corridor finds Rayner. He's got a runner. He gives him the ball. It's McLuggage. He flares it out to the outer wing. Charlie Cameron a long way down has taken the mark on the logo and he just steadies everything down. Chips back inboard to McLuggage. So they're sharing the ball again, Brisbane.
Hugh McLuggage coming up to stat 18. Called to play on. Passes wide to Hipwood, who marks on the right half forward flank. About 70 from goal. Hipwood with his left boot. Deep injection to the pocket. Danaher gets rid of Collins. Can't take the mark out the back. It's a Suns ball with Powell. Runs through the goal mouth. Centering ball dangerously down the corridor. Lukosius couldn't mark. Stolen by Sharp of Brisbane. Hand pass to McKenna, who soloed it to the first game of Morris, who's already got one. He snaps and just can't curl it enough for a point. My incorrect Irish terminology, a solo goes back to you, but it was the little Gaelic little kick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's a point. Brisbane by 30.
So the Suns try to exit it. Kick, ill-directed, looking for Will Graham. It came off hands, and it's going to go over the boundary line as Locke Neal gives the applause to his teammates who took it over there for him. Umpire's going to throw it in. It's 70 from the Lions' goal at right half forward for them on the outer side. McInerney got rid of Lukosius in the ruck and loops a handball basically to nobody. Speculating it went to Lohman in the end, who was tackled in midair by Closey, brought to ground gently, and the umpire will come in and throw it up 55 metres out at right half forward for Brisbane. Once again, McInerney dominating Lukosius in the ruck. Ethan Reid taken off at half-time. The ball lands in the hands of Rayner. Through hands, it gets to Dunkley. He's tackled. The speculating handball to Berry. Intercepted by Flanders, and then Berry intercepted him. Threw him into the Gabba turf, and it's going to be balled up 45 metres out.
They'll be happy. Sorry,
yeah,
you go, Jamie. You go, Jamie.
Well, Brisbane will be wanting to take advantage with McInerney versus Lukosius.
Shallow throw in. Walters tackled as soon as he gets it. No prior.
And Brisbane will be happy with this. Time spent, just tackle, keep the ball inside 50, make it not a running game and a contested game.
It was Rowell, my apologies. Now, McInerney, clean possession, but an up and under from the stoppage. Morris got underneath it and double grabbed it. And Logan Morris is a chance to kick his third goal of the day. One in the VFL, one in the AFL, now lining up for his second tonight. Oh, wow.
3 shots on goals tonight.
Yep.
Good outcome, isn't it?
Massive. And maybe, Maddie, it'd be interesting if you wanted to talk through the viewers of what McInerney should be doing in such a different opponent in terms of Lukosius, and what Lukosius should be doing against McInerney as well.
Slight angle right for Logan Morris. He's only 25 metres out. Right foot drop. Oh, he's missed it. He drops his head as soon as he's kicked it. Missed to the near side. Young man in his first game, but he will not be happy with that. It's a point. 8-12. 8-12-60 to 4-5-29.
Yeah, they're dominating territory again, but 4 behind. So I think it is this quarter is 2 straight. They need to kick these to keep that distance at arm's length.
So the Suns to bring the ball back out. That's a long kick just short of centre wing. It came off hands of Harris Andrews. Walter couldn't drag it in. Rayner overran it. Then he went back to pick it up and Walter just nailed him, sat on him. Umpire came in and must have felt sorry for Cam Rayner and said, I will ball it up as they tangle the two youngsters in Rayner and Walter. Boy, that'd be worth the price of admission, those two. It's still going on as well. And it's still going on.
Wilder gave him one in the ribs.
So it's going to be
a free kick. Yep.
That will probably be looked at as well, because they're all being looked at, those little rib ticklers, whether they're open-handed or not. Rayner now. Long kick to right forward pocket, cut off there by Will Power, who read it beautifully in defence for the Gold Coast.
Lions lead it by 31 points. ABC Sport at the Gabba, the last game of round 8. Long kick from Powell from the left back pocket. High to the outer wing. There's a mark in that. Andrews. That 6 went up. Andrews comes down with the grab. Chips it to Zorko. Called to play on. Another stat for the Zork. From the wing. Spearing injection is ill-directed. Marked by Powell of the Suns. Plays on quickly with a great kick down the middle of the ground. They're out the Suns. Long marks. Turns. He's got a one-on-one deep. Kicks it on the head of Lukosius. Great spoil made by Payne to punch it out of play. 2 in the cage there. And Big Baywatch did a good job.
They did a great job. Yeah, they were cooked there. The Brisbane backs were watching that contest go inside 50 and didn't react to the counter-attack, but Payne was outstanding, as you call, Q.
Would have loved to see Lukosius try and put an arm out to try and just give himself a little bit more separation as Payne came in there, though.
Throw in underneath the small scoreboard, showing Brisbane leading by 31 points. Tom Berry with the clearance. Handball backwards to Fiorini. He kicks a left footer to the top of the square. Off hands. It was rowed by Lohman. Gave the handball to Neal. It put him under pressure. Now Jake Rogers charging at it. Well done to Lester, the veteran. Beat Rogers to the ball, and then Tom Berry came across and smothered it off his boot. Good footy all round. Desperate stuff. And we're going to have a throw in a more or less the same spot underneath the small scoreboard. 18 gone. Lions by 31.
Having led by 40 at half-time, but only with 2 on the bench. Boundary throw in. Suns in attack. Give that tap to Witts. Has he got a rover? No. McCluggage clears for Brisbane. A little toe poke at a half-back. Morris couldn't mark ball away. Picked up by Miller of the Suns. Right to tackle. Hand passes to no one in particular. McCluggage steals it for Brisbane. Hands it to McInerney. Rush clearance to the middle of the ground. And Hipwood leads Andrew to the marking contest between the high jumpers. The long limbs of Eric Hipwood, too good for the long limbs of Mac Andrew. Kick to left half forward, marked by Dunkley. Plays on with a chip over the man on the mark to Jared Berry. Marks at 55 out. Holds up. Now goes back. He had Danaher beseeching for a short pass. Jared Berry now kicks it to Lockie Neal, no closer to goal. Neal 60 out, chips it to Charlie Cameron, who presents the chest and takes the mark to a wonderfully executed pass from Lockie Neal. There were 2 defenders around Charlie Cameron there, but he was quick and got to the drop, and he's setting up for the right-footed snap punt. Marcus Ashcroft, medalist in round 21 of 2019, Charles Cameron, yet to kick a goal tonight. 40 out, hard in the left forward pocket, hits the snap punt. It comes down 30 metres from goal. Punch to deck and still alive. Neal arrives. He has a snap, Lockie Neal. Doesn't kick many goals. He hasn't there either.
Free kick here, too.
Now, he's kicked it out in the full, but there's going to be a free kick to who? Is it Dunkley's?
I think it is in the back. He paid the umpire, but
and the crowd will now be aware of this as Josh Dunkley picks himself up, feeling the back of his head.
I think it was Benny Ainsworth post his punch of the ball. He then tried to come in and try and clean up his area where he should have marked it, and probably just got a little bit overzealous.
Yeah, still haven't seen a replay, Jamie, but it will be a free kick to Josh Dunkley. First year at the Lions last year, 4th in the best and fairest. This from straight in front. 35 metres out. Dunkley with his right boot. Oh, this is getting really bad, this kicking for Brisbane. He's missed that to the right. 8-13-61, and again, every night starts a clean sheet, but we've got another Lions narrative of bad kicking in front of goal, Pricey.
Bad kicking's bad footy, as they say in the classics, Q. On the outer side, the mark couldn't be taken by Payne. Spoiled away from him. Enter Jake Rogers, the youngster, couldn't quite pick it up. Holman put himself in. Got tackled high, methinks. No. Not paid, that one. Taken into the ground by Zorko, and we will get a ball up. The umpire's going to come and throw it up to the side of the centre circles. Once again, McInerney propels it towards the boundary line. That's picked up by Fiorini. Hooks it around the body, bouncing over the head of Payne. King got there first. He's got Payne on his hammer, and then all of a sudden Wilmot appears, takes it over the boundary line, be a throw-in at left half forward. Dane Bojak's on the boundary.
Yeah, Jed Walters come back onto the bench, and I can tell you that there's been a number of Suns officials just talking to them. These young players are getting an education, and no doubt they would have been saying, don't get sucked in by blokes like Rayner.
Boundary throw-in left half forward for the Suns. Anderson roves the pack. He's tackled brilliantly by Jared Berry, holding the ball. Pinned his arms, dragged him down. Great tackle from the elder of the Berries. And he's going to kick it very short. Marked by Fletcher at right half back. Kicks it around the boundary. Marked by Neal, shy of the wing. Kicks to half forward, and Danaher takes the grab. Kick and a half from goal for Joe. He's wheeling in on that left. A low entry which skims in front of its intended target. Out the back. Atkins for the Suns can't pick it up. Hipwood for Brisbane does. Beats a couple of tacklers. Got a hand pass away to Dunkley. Dunkley chips in field. It's marked by Jared Berry. Or was the ball over the boundary line?
Out of bounds.
Yes, the ball was over the boundary line, Matthew. Brisbane 8-13-61. Gold Coast 4-5-29. ABC Sport 23 minutes played. Q Clash 26 at the Gabba.
32 points the margin in favour of the Lions. The throw in, encouraged by the crowd. McInerney slaps it back towards the boundary line. McAndrew tracks the ball through the behinds, and it will be another rush behind for Brisbane. So that is 6 consecutive behinds for them. 62 plays 29. What's going on? There's going to be a 50-metre penalty. Eric Hipwood's got in the way there, Ken.
Yeah, I think he thought he was allowed to tackle Will Powell on the play on from the inbound, but wasn't in the legal position to do so, so it was given away a 50-metre penalty. So Powell has marched to centre half back, chips a short pass to Rowell. Powell to Rowell, and now Rowell deep towards full forward, over the head of the leading Lukosius. Out the back, it's all Brisbane. McKenna tracks it near the point post, wins it for the Lions, chips it across the face of goal to Lohman. Markson plays on with a chip around the boundary line, marked at right half forward by Jared Berry. Wants to play on. Holman does well to hold up the mark. And Berry's told to get back on his mark.
Well, it's either a 50 or... No,
well...
He's had $2 each way.
Jared Berry chips it short to Connor McKenna, who takes the mark. He's at right half back, Connor McKenna. Kicks a long ball. Down the outer wing, Cameron with a fly for Brisbane, spoiled by Atkins, but rowed by Rayner of Brisbane. Hand pass turned over. Collins intercepts for the Suns. Hand pass from Closey back to Atkins. Long clearing kick from left half back.
Big pack flies off the fist of Harris Andrews. The ball skids over towards the bench, and Harris Andrews gives Nick Holman a little bit of something to go on with as the umpire comes in. He's going to throw it in front of the Brisbane Lions bench. They're leading by 33 points at the present. 24 and a half gone. Third term here at the Gabba. It's been a good night for footy. Tap down there. Brisbane with the clearance yet again. McCluggage off to Jasper Fletcher. The outside of the right boot didn't work, and it only found Charlie Ballard. He goes laterally now to Ainsworth at right half back. That's a spear. 40-metre pass to find Ben Long. Goes around one. Got the handball back to Tom Berry, who gets around Harris Andrews, then lays a right foot to the top of the square. Big pack. Off hands. Connor McKenna gets there first. Can't quite pick it up. Worried off it by Holman. Ball spills towards the boundary line. Reville picks it up, and his kick finds Kyle Lohman on the way out. A little bit fortunate, but it was in the right direction, and Lohman, still inside defensive 50, kicks it to Wilmot.
They just can't stop them uncontested marks here. They've got to slow them, try and stop them, make them kick long and get some territory back. They're just giving up too much time in possession.
Matt Primus on ABC Sport as Wilmot runs through centre half back. No one on the mark. So he takes a few metres, kicks long, but turns over the kick. Collins marks for the Suns. The left half back kicks it infield to Swallow. Swallow takes the grab, kicks to the bullseye for Witts, who's spoiled away by the spoiler Fletcher. Rode by Danaher. 60 out, open goal mouth. He kicks deep and misses to the right for a behind. So Joe's got, 2 goals, 2, and one of the worst misses you've ever seen tonight. 8-15. 34 points is the lead at 8-15, 63 to 4-5-29.
As the Suns bring it back quickly the outer side. Long kick towards the wing off the fist of Nick Holman. Actually, it's gone out of bounds on the full. Holman was over the boundary next to the bench. It's going to be a Brisbane Lions free kick. It'll go to Connor McKenna.
You got no problem scoring, Brisbane. It's 7 shots from 11 inside 50s, but unfortunately 7 behinds.
As Wilmot receives the ball now at halfback as they retreat, he goes laterally to centre halfback to find Jasper Fletcher. Still inside defensive 50. Zorko's running for him just forward of the arc and takes the ball. Now he wants to flare out towards the commentary wing. Lester's made the lead. Beautiful kick by Zorko follows him. Zorko kept running. He's got Ben Long chasing him out, but Zorko delivers a magnificent pass towards Hugh McLuggage. 70 out, left half forward for Brisbane. He saunters around the man on the mark, delivers a lovely lace-out pass to Kai Lohman on the lead. You can see it. He was just waiting for Lohman to get in front of the man chasing him in closely, and Lohman takes the mark. 40 metres out, pretty tight angle to the left.
Great running, McCluggage. Like he ran Tuke Miller off his legs, and Tuke's as good a two-way runner as he is in the competition. Outstanding work, and then the composure for the kick.
So Kai Lohman, he's got the 1 goal for this evening, 1-1 in fact, to go with his 10 disposals. Let's go from just to the right of the mark. It's a little right. Big pack obviously flies off the hands of Witts. It'll rush through for another behind. That is the 8th consecutive behind for Brisbane this quarter. They are 8-16-64 as the Suns bring it in and muck it up with Kai Lohman.
A short pass for Flanders, punched away by Lohman, throw in left forward pocket for Brisbane. Zane on the boundary.
Yeah, Charlie Cameron's just had his quad strap cue. He's got a lot of bandages on that left leg, so it'll be interesting to see if it hinders him for the rest of the match with only 2 down.
Lions still in attack, and Pricey, you had a behind late in the second quarter. That's now 9 points in a row for Brisbane. Haven't kicked a goal for a while, but they're in attack. Ball thrown in through the fingers of the ruckman. Rode by Dunkley. Hand pass to Neal. Runs defensively. Hands to Zorko from 45. The Zork. He misses 2 to the right. Make it 10 in a row. 8-17-65. That's a 6-goal lead. 4-5-29 the Suns.
Doing it in increments of 1 at the moment. So the Suns stunned here at the Gabba as Atkin, the former Crow, takes off. Kicks it long towards centre wing off the hands of McInerney. Nicely rode by Graham. Looping handball to Rogers. Can't pick it up. He's crunched there by Connor McKenna. Left the ball behind. Now it's a pack and the ball stuck underneath. The umpire's going to come in and ball it up on centre wing, Stanley Street side of the ground. That's the outer side of the ground here at the Gabba.
Defensively, it's still been really strong though. Brisbane only allowed 2 goals, a lot more inside 50s to the Sun, but they've been really good defensively, pressure on the ball and behind the ball.
The stoppage on the outer side, rushed inside. Well, it doesn't quite get inside 50. The ball is seen over the boundary line by Payne. And a bit of late attention from Tom Berry. And Payne pushes him, and now Ben King comes in to help out. Fletcher tries to shrug King away. Oh, they're locked up as if it's a cuddle. Everyone's got their jerseys. No, play on. Throw it in. McInerney and Witts. Again, Sherritt. Dunkley fists it to Jared Berry. Tackled off it by Swallow. Half a chance for Rowell. He's tackled. Graham will get free kick for high contact. No? Not paying that tonight? Nope. Ball up. I think everyone realises 3/4 time's close. It'll be tossed in the air. The siren will sound, and then we'll get to oranges. Final oranges include Q Clash 26. It's 3/4 time. Brisbane did not kick a goal in that term. They kicked 9 behinds. 9 points to 2 goals won. So what was a 40-point lead for Brisbane at halftime is now a neat 6 goals, 36 points is the margin at 8-17-35 to 4-5-29. So the goal kickers for Brisbane are the same. 2 for Danaher, 2 for Gardner, singles to Lohman, Berry, Morris and Sharp. And for Gold Coast, Ben King's got 3 of their 4. Ben Long has the other. And if you are just tuning in, the storylines around the start of the game, Brandon Starcevic are laid out with the calf complaint in the warm-up, which meant that Harry Sharp was elevated from sub to starting. Logan Morris elevated from emergency to debut. Right knee injury to Lincoln McCarthy. Looks bad. HIA for Noah Answorth, concussed with Walter putting his knee into his head trying to take a mark. Gardner right knee collapses, looks like ACL gone. And Logan Morris, who was the sub and then injected and played VFL today, also kicked his first goal in AFL footy. And all this as Brisbane tries to resurrect a season where many pundits had them winning the flag. And at the moment, they're still a quarter away from registering their third victory of the season. And the Suns, with all these young guns, predicted by many to change the balance of power in the north. Well, at the moment, they got a 6-goal deficit to chase at three-quarter time. Where to from now? Don't go anywhere. We've got it for you all here on ABC Sport.
All I've done is tell the truth.
What really happened after the party.
Years ago, I was wrongly accused.
Did you know he was coming back? He's my dad.
In critically acclaimed new drama from the producers of The Slab and The Secrets She Keeps.
You've had too much to drink. Whatever you saw, it wasn't that. Mom!
Old scars become new wounds.
You gotta believe me. I do believe you.
After the Party. Sunday nights on ABC TV or stream all episodes now on ABC iView.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
In the bullseye, hand passes to centre half forward to Lukosius. Holds up 55 out. Screws it around his body. Great running from Long. Sprinted from the centre of the ground to get to the drop of a well-placed kick. 20 out in the left forward pocket. Long, slight angle left, 30 out, kicks the goal. Hands it to Holman, runs to 50, space in front of him, doesn't go for goal. Spears the pass to King, marks at 35 out directly in front. Not a difficult assignment for a man paid to kick goals. Right foot kick, he salutes with a fist clench as soon as he strikes it with his right. Suns with the first two of the second half.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
And from thereafter, Brisbane kicks point after point after point after point. We are at three-quarter time. This is ABC Sport. Hope you're enjoying the end of round 8 of this 2024 season with us on ABC Sport, as said, at the Gabba. I'm waiting for this crowd to be posted. The best ever in a Q Clash is around 27,000 and change. We'd be close to that tonight. What are they going to see in the last half an hour here with Brisbane? Having led by 22 at quarter time, 40 at half time, 36 now is the lead going into the final term. Former Port captain and coach Matt Primus, the current Sun, former Lion, former Roo and current AFL women's coach Jamie Stanton tell you a little bit of what we've seen and where to from here. Jamie, we'll start from you. What's Q Clash 26 got left?
Brisbane have been ultra impressive. Their first quarter, they smashed the Suns with their ball movement in terms of speed on the ball. They played on from every mark. The handball receive was through the roof. And then in the second and third quarter, as the injuries kept piling up, they've beaten them with the slow kick mark style. So they've beaten Gold Coast in every way that you'd ever consider moving the football. And Gold Coast just look, lack of a better term, really insipid on defence. I don't know if they're zoning. I don't know if they're in man on. I have absolutely no idea what's going on right now other than they look like traffic cones.
Yeah, it's a good summary. They're miles off. You would think with a couple down and some energy, kick the first 2 goals, that they would be up and about and trying to close down Brisbane's space and make them kick long down the line or take some risk with the ball movement. But we said the uncontested marks were plus 60 odd at half time. It's now plus 70 or 80. So they've just allowed Brisbane to hold on to the ball, and then they've been able to kill the quarter and own the inside 50s and virtually taken away the game. They had to make massive inroads in that quarter to be able to win the game. But they just gave it to Brisbane too. And Brisbane credit, they were still hard at the contest, but they allowed them to own the ball and be able to keep the scoreboard completely at bay.
What was upsetting too is 9 behinds, right? So that gives you 9 opportunities to start with ball in hand. And I understand that it's the hardest part of the ground to move the ball from back end to forward end. But there was no dare. No. There was no even, let's try it. Let's throw caution to the wind. It was, let's kick to the pocket or let's kick long down the line. It's like they're just waiting for the game to be over so that they can restart again in Darwin.
So Brisbane with 50 inside 50s to 29, 117 marks to 46, 297 possessions to 222. Yet if the Suns kick the first 2 here, It's game on. 6 goals the lead to Brisbane as we start the final term of Q Clash 26.
It's an awkward bounce, though. It's not going to be called back by the umpire. McInerney slaps it back towards the wing. McCluggage got there first. Handball back to Dunkley. Dunkley on the left foot for Brisbane towards half forward over the head of Powell and Cameron. Enter Jared Berry. Couldn't quite pick it up. Closey goes back for the Gold Coast. It's still at ground level. Everybody having a hack at it. Berry dives over the top. The umpire's going to come in and ball it up. It's going to be 35 to 40 metres out, 45-degree angle to the left.
Dane Zorko questing for his first Marcus Ashcroft medal, leads all comers disposals-wise with 31 at three-quarter time. Rouse tackled at the stoppage, gets rid of it. McCluggage picks up. He's tackled by Anderson, but gets a hand pass to Reville. Reville kicks to full forward. Hipwood meets it hard. Andrew makes the spoil. Ball ricochets to D50 for the Suns. Met by Miller of Gold Coast. Hand pass not great, but Flanders makes good of it. Hands it to Closey under pressure. His kick. Grubbers towards halfway. Miller had it, got tackled through it. Free kick to Dunkley, who applies the tackle. Lions had loved the first goal or so here, just to really settle things. Dunkley, that's a high, that had his dad in it, that kick, towards the pocket. Underneath it is Lohman. Lohman's tackled to the ground. I love Andrew Dunkley, but that's the first time I've seen Josh look like his dad when he kicked it. Do you agree, Mattress?
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
Don't funk with the dunk.
Oh, you know when Jack Silfani used to shimmy his hips and get away from defenders ILR, his dad? That was genetics pure and simple there from Josh Dunkley.
Sam Collins brings it out now. Atkins, the run comes from Noah Anderson. They're trying to run the ball through now. Long kick towards centre half forward over the back of Harris Andrews. Lukosius was it Jed Walter held down? The youngster receives the free kick. He'll have to have a crack at this from about 52 metres. Slight angle to the left. Hasn't troubled the scorers this evening, young Jed Walter. 6 goals for in his career. He's gone back a long way. He's off the very long run up, just short of centre wing on the Vulture Street side of the ground. He wanders past the point of the centre square. Let's go from 52. Boy, he's hit that. He's hit that. That's out of the park. Oh, what a beautiful kick from the young man. The Suns get one they badly need at the start of the final term. 8-17-65, the Brisbane Lions. Now 5-5-35 the Suns. We're back to 30 points the margin.
Oh. One of the very rare wins forward of the ball for them, and we just looked at the replay now. I suppose it was out of the letter of the law, wasn't it? But what a beautiful kick, and we see the talent that guy's got from outside 50.
And it's funny, we're discussing, why they play this kid over Casbolt and a few others. Like, his kicking ability is why, but you want him in a contest like that to put more effort in. You're up against it, and you don't want to be playing for free kicks, whether they're there or not. So he's got to compete a bit better, but his kicking ability is nice.
5 goals to lead to Brisbane. A nervous hum around the Gabba. Centre bounce, give that one to Witts. Off the ricochet, who's going to get the clearance though? Atkins ran over it. Rayner taps at the half forward, picked up by Neal. A Brisbane kick inside 50. Andrew can't take the mark for the Suns. Kicked out of the air by Ballard. Picked up by Fiorini. Gold Coast ball. Hand passes to Powell. Hand pass towards the half-back flank. Closey couldn't pick it up. Cameron does for Brisbane. He's tackled and dispossessed. Holding the ball. Great tackle there by Ainsworth. Advantage taken by the Suns. Kick to the wing. No, it's Ainsworth now. He wasn't tackling. Might have been Fiorini back there. Couple of bounces from Ainsworth. Kicks towards full forward and a 2-on-2. Payne with the spoil for Brisbane. Knuckles the Sherrin over the boundary line on attacking 50 at right half forward for the Suns.
That was sort of disappointing. Ainsworth has the ball. He's running down the wing, and all 4 forwards for Gold Coast are running back towards goal. No one's hitting up. He has to kick this sky ball up in the air, and it takes away their advantage.
Yeah, you would have liked to have seen somebody leading at the kicker as the ball gets thrown in across half forward for the Suns. Rode by McCluggage. His kick semi-smothered. In the corridor, beautifully picked up by Rayner. It's a big wobbling torpedo mongrel inside 50. Bouncing freely, running back there and gathering Charlie Ballard. His handball over the top of Powell, who gathered nicely on the arc. Went back towards the corridor and hit Anderson just short of the centre circles. Now he plays on. 25-metre pass finds Flanders. His sweeping handball to the run of Fiorini. Now Fiorini lowers the eyes. It went through the hands of Graham. Nothing happening. Was actually Ben Long. They were after a free kick. It's towed towards left half back, and Bruce Reville takes it for the Lions.
Chips it around the boundary line to the wing where Lester marks uncontested for Brisbane, and he'll take his time. 5 goals the lead to the Lions. Lester with a precise pass to Danaher. Marks edge of the centre square. True centre wing. Stanley Street side of the Gabba. Lions fans just desperate to have a goal or two to break the nervousness. High entry from Danaher. Fisted away by Ballard. He wins his own crumb. Hand pass not great though. Chance for Rayner. Couldn't pick it up. Dunkley ball's in for the Lions, but he's tackled. And we'll see a ball up 45 metres from the attacking goal for Brisbane. Quickly tossed in the air. Witts with the tap down for the Suns. Rode by Anderson. Indiscriminate hand pass stolen by Danaher. Hacks a kick in board 50. It's taken away by Collins of the Suns. Picked up by Fiorini, right half back for Gold Coast. Good infield kick. Off Flanders, dropped the mark. He had 2 pieces of and then put it down. McCluggage apprised the pressure and got held without it. Free kick to Hugh McCluggage just forward of the bullseye.
Just compounded his mistake there, didn't he? And McCluggage now plays on to the run of Wilmot. He takes him on, got the handball to Zorko. Zorko from 55. Zorko pulls it to the left. Would have been the icing on the Zorko cake there. 66 plays 35. Back to 31 points the margin. And we played 6.5 of the final term. ABC Sport.
11 points. 11 points in a row.
Wow.
Long inbound to a 2-on-2. Collins keeps his feet, wins his own crumb at left half back. Hand pass to Graham. Nice interception by Wilmot. Taps it out of play as Graham was trying to work the hand pass over the top. And Darcy Wilmot gets in the way.
I think the fumes are out, Q. It's interesting watching how Brisbane are moving the ball now. The last couple of inside 50s have been really high, kicks right up in the air. There's lack of movement in the forward, and especially around the stoppages, Brisbane are looking for tackles, or looking to be tackled, I should say.
Only 2 on the bench for the Lions. Boundary throw in. Neal with the extrication. Hand pass to McCluggage. Holding the ball. Tackled. Brilliantly done by Flanders. Great tackle from Flanders. Yeah, prior to Jenny Sleeting, and they are catching her.
They're coming hard. They're just not executing skill-wise, are they?
Is Jenny's lead long enough? Referring to the great Group 1 winning mare, the great front runner. The Lions, they've been average in second halves and they're running out of gas. Flanders kicks to half forward. King raves his own crumb. Kips Deek into attack. Lohman flies to apply the spoil for Brisbane. Ground level, big ball here. McKenna wins it for the Lions. Hands it to Zorko. Berry made him earn it. Hand pass goes to Andrews. Andrews kick, clears defence. Out in front of Sharp. Gathers on the bounce. Runs infield, gets tackled. Loose hand pass. It evades Rayner. Picked up by Anderson of the Suns. Hands to Holman. Hands to Lukosius. He has an outside of the right boot kick when he should have steadied for the drop punt, and he misses everything.
Yep.
It bounced. It's going to be a throw-in.
That's the last 3 or 4 inside 50s. They just haven't been composed. Missed targets, haven't done the skill execution, and they're letting Brizzy off the hook here because they are out on their feet.
I'm thinking of Acker. Where's the left? Where's the left?
I was going to say exactly that. If Acker was here, he would have said, "Where's your left foot, son? Where is it?" Throw in, right forward pocket. Another chance for the Gold Coast. Off hands. Could have been a free kick there to Flanders. He ends up with the ball anyway. Good smothering effort by Hugh McCluggage and Zorko. They took care of that. The ball over the boundary line, 45 metres out the right forward pocket for the Suns. You can see Damien Hardwick. Looks like he's reasonably calm on the screen, but probably fuming underneath, I must say. Throw in, 45 out from the Gold Coast goal. Off the hands of Witts, roved by McCluggage. Kick just short of centre wing. Here comes Collins, the handball forward. It ends up with Fiorini. Beautiful pass finds Lukosius. In front of Harris Andrews. 40 out, slight angle to the right. We've got about 13 minutes of play in the final term here. If he kicks this, they will be 25 points off.
There's an eon left in this on current form of Brisbane in their second halves.
So the Gabba crowd is stunned at the moment. Lukosius, again, he's off the very long run. That's a good 25-metre run. He comes in. Let's go from 45. He strikes it left and takes the air out of the Gold Coast comeback there a little. 66 plays 36. 30 points the margin in favour of Brisbane. Zane Bojacks on the boundary.
Yeah, it's been a tough debut, hasn't it, for the youngster in Logan Morris. And he and Bruce Reville, they've all been getting plenty of treatment. What's going on here down?
Yeah, free kick to Lohman at left half back, Zano. So the Lions, again, looking to really possess the ball. McKenna's short pass to Wilmot comes unstuck. Right by Anderson. Oh, that's a left foot snappy like again. He's hooked it straight across the face for nothing.
It's 5 in a row inside 50s that they haven't capitalised, and they've kept Brisbane to 3 uncontested marks. So they're closing down their space. They're making them take risks, but just not being able to punish them.
What's Acker's response for a poor left foot kick?
I would have kicked it better.
Boundary throw in, Suns in attack. McInerney with the tap, row by McCluggage, hand pass to McKenna, hoping exit. Spilled by Dunkley at centre half back for the Lions under pressure. Goes to deck. Miller picks up for the Suns. Bullets a hand pass to Closey from 60. Chips wide for Rogers. Great spoil, Zorko. Give him the choppers now. Yeah. He knocks it over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Hashtag give it to Zork.
Oldest man on the field, and look, what's that closing speed?
34 disposals, 2 clearances, 4 tackles, and 7 score involvements, if you don't mind.
The choppers being the Marcus Ashcroft Weddle, of which Dane Zorko has never won, despite playing in a record 23 Q clashes.
And being the focal point of several of them as well, off the hands of Jared Witts. Got the hands through to Noah Anderson, sold the dummy, ran inside 50, had a ping, Lukosius, spoiled by Harris Andrews. That's what Harris Andrews does. It's gone through the behinds, so 66 plays 37, and it is back to a 29-point margin.
Give Zorko another one, a cheapie, marking the kick into the left-back pocket. He chips it to Fletcher. Jasper Fletcher has the mark for Brisbane. It's been a weird old night. The Lions won't care anyhow if they can just get the 4 premiership points here. Fletcher with a long ball to the wing. McInerney juggles the mark.
Been a bit tonight.
Yeah, the big go back from the concussion protocols. Copped that knock against the Cats, missed the loss against the Giants last week. Long kick from McInerney to half forward. Danaher gives away a free kick for flying with no intent. Well, he had intent, but not close enough to mark. Oh, hold on. Oh, who's getting the free kick?
Yeah, Collins, I think, for a Shepherd. He's saying blocked, sorry.
No, Danaher's on the mark. Yeah, it's going to be Collins' free kick. Nervous hum still around the Gabba. 12 minutes played, final term. 29 points the lead to Brisbane. Collins from right half back kicks Gold Coast to a pack on the wing. Out the back, a chance for King. Gathers, he's tackled by Zorko. Got a hand pass clear, stolen by McKenna. Hacks it from half back for Brisbane. Back towards half forward, but Collins gathers on the bounce. Oh, his hand pass beats Ballard. It's on the deck. Danaher sockers it into the pocket looking for Hipwood. Hipwood can't control it. Out of play. Boundary throw in. Oh, no, it came off his shin. Free kick, Suns.
It was a bit clumsy as Mac Andrew plays on. Goes straight across the face of goal. Dangerous practice, but they need it. Will Powell now. Beautiful kick finds Closey. Now he runs. Gives the handball off to David Swallow. Back to Closey. It is Atkins now, the left foot, and finds Lukosius just short of centre wing. Back to Atkins. He kept running. The handball to Swallow, who kept going. Now to Tom Berry. This is how they needed to move it. Long kick to the goal square. At the back, Ben King. Roving Ainsworth. Had a ping and kicked a goal. The Suns get their 6th. It is now a 23-point margin. The crowd has definitely been silenced, and have a look at the attendance, Q.
Biggest ever Q Clash crowd, 30,285. First ever beyond 30,000 for the Queensland Derby, 30,285, and we might just get the cliff-hanging finish.
Well, they're going to need to do all the little things right. Hipwood just need to take that ball out of bounds, and it's a throw-in 20 metres out from goal. They could have 5 or 6 in a row and kill 3 or 4 minutes off the clock, but he just didn't pay attention to detail on the fall, and then the Suns are now just going to play on with all, abandon and just run and draw, handball, overlap, try and get that going. And as we said, Brizzy are out on their feet. They can't run with them, but they need to be able to lock it inside their 50. They miss that opportunity then.
So the added storyline is the injuries tonight, Jamie, for Brisbane fading in the second half.
Just finally some different ball movement from the Suns. At least they're trying something different.
Centre-bouts, 23 points the lead to Brisbane. Witts wins the tap down to Miller. Clearance Suns. Hand pass Anderson. Anderson kicks to the forward line for Gold Coast. Andrews gets in the way. Walter was the target, but Harris got there and takes the mark. The Brisbane co-captain in a time of need for his team yet again.
That is a poor inside 50 kick from a player under no pressure.
Andrews with the clearing ball. High to the wing. Miller gets in front of the contest with Rayner. Can't take the mark. Rayner wins the crumb and's tackled over the boundary line by Andrew. Boundary throw in. There's 9.5 minutes of playing time left. Brisbane, 8 goals, 18, 66. Lead Gold Coast, 6 goals, 7, 43 on ABC Sport.
And they kicked long out of the back line again. They just can't find those short targets.
Throw in, out of side. Witts in the front position, slapped it forward. McInerney followed the ball back towards the boundary line. It's going to be very close there. Tuke Miller dives in, and the umpire's going to throw it in from more or less a similar spot on the Stanley Street side of the ground.
And they're finding those marks by being able to run and get off their opponents, but now they just can't get off the Suns at all.
Another throw in. Witts versus McInerney. It lands on the logo. Witts in the front position, tapped it down. Leading the charge, Anderson. Picked it up for the Gold Coast. Kicks it inside 50. Who's there? Harris Andrews. He dropped the put. Picked up by Walter. Walter shoots a handball and gives it straight back to Harris Andrews. Now he goes back into Ferret for the ball. He tackles Zorko into the ground. The ball stuck underneath him. And the umpire's going to come in and ball it up as Zorko peels himself off the Gabba turf.
The third quarter is going to be the quarter that kills the Suns here. They made no rinrones and now they're running over the top.
Witts, clean possession. Hand pass to Tom Berry, tackled, got rid of it, threw it. Darcy Wilmot owns the free kick in the left back pocket. Yeah, Jamie, even though the Lions kicked all of those points, you're right, that the Suns could not really eat into that advantage. And now Walter stepped over the mark on a short pass back to Andrews, and Andrews gets a 50-metre penalty.
Yeah, they had him pinned then too, Q. Andrews would have to, long down the line, kick from his own goal square and releases some pressure.
And the boy from Aspley, the best and fairest winner, the co-captain. Harris Andrews marched to centre-half back. Chips it short to Zorko, another touch. He marks and kicks to the wing for Sharp. Harry Sharp. Kicks backwards to Andrews.
Yeah, this is better.
It's keepings off.
Yep.
Andrews slots it along the edge of the centre square. Oh, McCluggage drops a mark he should have taken. Now it's a 50-50 ball on the deck. Wilmot comes in to win it for Brisbane, hands it to Neil. Neil hands it out the back to Sharp, who runs the wing. Slewed left foot kick is marked by Rayner. Wasn't a great kick, but Rayner made good of it. 60 from goal at left half forward.
Yep. Take his time, let all the numbers get inside 50, then try and lock it in.
One more goal might be enough. Rayner chips to the pocket. Out the back of the pack, Charlie Cameron. Game over. Cameron boots it through from point-blank range. And the Lions tilt in 2024. The faint pulse gets an extra little blip in it as John Denver rings out across Q Clash 26 with Brisbane leading by 29 points.
Oh, look, to be greatly honest, Brisbane have been absolutely very, very impressive tonight. They've been the better team from go to woe, and even now with absolute no petrol in the tank, they're still finding a way to, maintain possession and move the ball and put the ball inside Gold Coast's defensive 50. Like, that contest shouldn't happen. You should have the ability from the Gold Coast defenders to get up, mark it, spoil to the front. Like, they shouldn't be making these silly errors. They're not the tired team. So, unfortunately, Brisbane are, just shown Gold Coast up.
The music stopped. The crowd kept going. The ball's been bounced. The umpire's already paid a free kick. We're into the second round of John Denver as the ball comes back to the circles. They'll cheer it now. Here we go. There you go. Hugh McCluggage has the ball in the centre circles. Crowd up and about. Long kick inside 50. Mac Andrew at the back, fists it forward, front and square. Ainsworth tackled, holding the ball, surely, absolutely. Did not dispose of that correctly. It's going to be a free kick. And it looks like they're all remonstrating with the man who dropped the ball. It's going to be Josh Dunkley who receives this free kick when they eventually separate everybody.
Ainsworth.
So it is Josh Dunkley. And it was Ben Ainsworth who dropped the agate. They're into him as well. Lockie Neal just goes up to his opposite number 9 and says, how about that one?
He's playing school teacher to Kai Lohman as well, saying, get out of there, young man.
So Josh Dunkley, 27th disposal. He's kicked 2 behinds tonight. He's kicked this goal, though. The crowd love it here. A record Q Clash crowd. Welcome the 10th goal for the Brisbane Lions. 10-18, 78 to 6-7, 43. It's back to a 35-point margin. 20 gone, final term.
And I know we've said it a few times before, especially you and Pricey have been on it. Lachie Neal's got to have a dominant game for them to win. But he's been very good tonight. But I tell you what, Dunkley and McCluggage has been as good, if not better than him. They've been an outstanding on ballers, those three there, and his work rate both ways, his inside 50s along with McCluggage has been outstanding.
Matt Primus with you on ABC Sport. The wave now going around the Gabba on this long weekend Sunday. Public holiday here tomorrow, that's why we're playing late footy, among with the advantages of giving footy lovers a bit of late Sunday night action on this round 8. 35 points the lead to Brisbane. Centre bounce. Neal can't pick up, but Zorko will. Gets a hand pass, which is half volleyed by Wilmot off an instep out towards the wing. A bit of a mongrel kick. Danaher can't pick it up. Picked up by the Suns. Rogers rush kick to half forward. Whistle on play. Mark paid to Jack Payne. Payne at left half-back, kicks infield to Zorko. Make it 37 disposals for Dane Zorko. What a marvel he is. He chips it to McCluggage, who marks. Chips it to Jared Berry, who marks. Jared Berry chips it to half-forward to the Piglet. Jasper Fletcher takes the grab, 60 out at centre half-forward. They're all calling for it now. Give it to Zork. Zork kicks inside 50 to Jared Berry. Takes the grab, 45 out. So Zorko now has 39 possessions. 5 best and fairest, 3 leading goal kickers. Oh, hold on, Jared Berry's played on. They're sharing it around now. McCluggage has got the ball. He's tackled. Stoppage, 35 out. Will he win the choppers tonight for the first time?
A game high, 852 metres game too, if you don't mind. So the kicks haven't just been dinky little ones.
McCluggage from the stoppage. Hand pass is stolen. Rush clearance by the Suns. It was Flanders kick, but straight to Harris Andrews. Mind you, this guy's gone all right tonight too. Harris Andrews takes the mark in the centre of the ground. Kicks to Fletcher. He took his eyes off the ball, dropped the mark. Regathers it. Kicks to the pocket though. And it's intercepted by Atkins of Gold Coast. Suns are about to go to Darwin for their 2-game trot there. North first up, Geelong after that. They like playing in Darwin, the Suns. They'll be 4-4. While the Lions will be 3-5, and they've got a trip to meet Crom at Adelaide Oval next week.
Nice, that would be interesting as Ainsworth now takes the ball in front of us here in the commentary box. Long kick to left half forward. Walter in the front position, could have got a free kick, should have probably. Came off his hands, Ben Long tackled. He was taking it over the boundary line. It was a bit, 50 cents each way. It was either holding the ball or incorrect disposal. The umpire said it was just over the boundary line.
Great effort by Leicester. Those 2 contests in the air and on the ground, outstanding when the game's dead and buried.
The Mexican wave is going around the ground, and every time it hits the members, that's where you're getting the boos as well, because they're not doing anything. The ball comes over from the throw-in, off the toes of McAndrew, back over the boundary line, and it'll be another throw-in. 35 points the margin, 23 gone final term on ABC Sport. It was a game where the Lions are just holding on, but they've been relatively dominant up until this final term.
Shallow throw in. Andrew taps it to the front of the pack. Rails held without it. No free kick. Andrew picks it up. Left foot kick is high and into attack. Long's got 2 to beat. In the pocket. Oh, he almost takes a Lockett-esque mark. It's gone off his ricocheted hand and out of play. In that term, where Plugger used to sort of hold 2 blokes at bay and drop and protect the drop zone, Matty.
Yep.
Almost got it, Ben Long. Out of play for a throw-in.
Across the arc now, Andrew versus McInerney. Off hands, Neal. Got a handball back to Dunkley, bumped off it by Holman. Ball over the boundary, another throw in, 45 out. They're really enjoying it here on a Sunday night. The wave's gone right and now it's going left. I don't know which way to look. The ball itself is 35 metres out from the Gold Coast goal. Andrew against McInerney in the ruck. McInerney grabbed it out, just kicked it straight back up the line, gathered by Atkins. His handball too hot for Rao. Went past everybody. Rogers, his handball was speculating, and it was Zorko. Zorko copped his opponent high when going to fist the ball, and he was trying to fist the ball. Flanders got the free kick. Handball off to Atkins. Off a step, kicked it long. too long, in fact. It went past everybody through the behinds and one behind for the Suns. It's 34 points the margin now. 78 plays 44 with about 4 minutes left to play on the final term. They don't know which way they're going.
Yeah, McKenna with the inbound, kicks it to Hipwood, marks.
It's just a hot mess.
Good grab beyond defensive 50 at right half back, Eric Hipwood. Boy, isn't this a 4 points that the Lions needed? But they'll have some injuries to sift through. Serious knee injuries to McCarthy and Gardner, as the chip from Hipwood is marked by Danaher on the wing. So concussion for Noah Ransworth as well. Protocols will probably see him out of the trip to Adelaide. And don't know how serious the Brandon Starcevic calf injury is when he pulled out of the warm-up. Danaher from true centre wing kicks Brisbane to half forward. Mac Andrew got a hand, couldn't mark, and now McInerney's claiming it. Hold on, one Mac had a touch, the second Mac had the rest of it, but I think you're mixing Macs there. McInerney's been played the mark.
What about he just pointed to the goals over his shoulder as if I'm going back?
Yeah, Oscar.
You got this range in him, Q?
Yeah, whether he can kick it straight is another question. What do you reckon, Jamie?
You know what? He'll kick it.
No, I reckon 26 minutes final term. Too much for the big fella. He won't get there. He gets underneath it. It's going to be short on the goal line. Punch through for a point. So if that's 26 minutes first term mattress, I'd say yeah. You got to go with, all manners of form and indicators. Correct. A point, 35 the lead to Brisbane.
10 goals, 19 now for Brisbane as the Gold Coast try to exit. Payne punches it forward. It's going to be a free kick for a hold. Go to Jared Witts. He's at right half back on the point of the centre square. The big fella had a great battle with McInerney all night. Gives the handball off to the run of Will Powell. The West Australian kicks it to right half forward. King gets up high, couldn't quite take the mark. It's going to be a free kick. He was dealt with at the back of the pack by Payne. So he's going to receive it. 80 from goal as the Brisbane chant goes up around the Gabba. They know their team has got this one in the bag as King kicks it to the pocket. Big pack flies and Danaher pops his head. In there in defence, big broad grin and the barbershop quartet moustache. He's loving it. Goes back into the left back pocket and takes his very sweet time all about it.
Danaher in the left back pocket with a long kick towards the outer wing. Witts fists the pack for the Suns. Rove by Powell. He's taken immediately by Lohman and Wilmot. Somehow got a hand pass clear. Fiorini had it, lost it, goes again, loses it again. Flanders plays tackler to wrap it up there. Ball up. Left half back for Brisbane. Right half forward for Gold Coast. Ball tossed in the air. Witts taps down, but it's roved by Sharp of Brisbane. Hands it to Zorko, kicks it out of the air. Is that 40? No, that's 39 for Zorko. He's kicked it back to the congestion. Locked up, ball up. So there's a few storylines to get through here. Jamie Stanton and Matt Primus will sift through it. Zane Bojack will go to the rooms. We'd love to hear from you on 0437 774 774. Really important win in the context of Brisbane's season. Has it taken the gloss off the Suns? What do you think? From the stoppage, Sharp gets a toe to it. Brisbane's ball. Got it to Lohman. Hand pass to Neal. Hand pass to Danaher on the wing. Chips a little cute ball around the paint. He's going to try and win it himself. Lohman has a go-to. Neither can win it. Rao picks it up for the Suns. Hands it to Anderson. Anderson's chip marked by Powell. Hand pass to Miller. Miller from the wing. Hands it to Fiorini. Hands it back to Miller. Miller with a deep entry for the Suns. Leicester across the front. Can't mark. Holman has a fumble. Leicester rushes a point. Six goals the lead to Brisbane, Matt. And there's 43 seconds left.
What are you saying, Quinton?
Well, want to rewind the tape? 10-20-80, play 6-8-44.
Yeah, I must say, I was surprised when you tipped them by 6 goals, Q, but there you have it. It's Harris Andrews now in the right back pocket. He goes back inboard and finds Jasper Fletcher. They're just sharing it around now. Connor McKenna from centre half back. That's a longer kick towards Danaher on the outer wing. Danaher versus Sam Collins. Floats in front of Danaher, takes the mark, plays on. Long kick and drills it straight down the throat of the Irishman in Connor McKenna. It's like Forsenbach's when you were at high school. Remember that?
Yeah, my maths is no good. I gave one to the opposition rather than the other. 34 it is. So it wasn't one extra to Brisbane. It was one less, so 34. Q Clash 26. Injuries are plenty for the Lions, but they've won the game. And their season is alive. A pretty gritty victory. 10-19-79 beats 6-9-45, and last year's grand finalists finally sing this song at their home ground in 2024.
We will always fight for victory, like the Troy and Bears of old. All for one and one for all. We will answer to the call. Go Lions, Brisbane Lions, we'll kick the winning score. You'll hear a mighty roar. We are the pride of Brisbane town. We wear the gold, blue and gold. We will always fight for victory, like the Troy and Bears of old. All for one and one for all. We will answer to the call. Go Lions, Brisbane Lions, we'll kick the winning score. You'll hear a mighty roar. You'll hear a mighty
Biggest ever Q Clash crowd. 30,285 fans on a long weekend Sunday night have seen the Lions keep their 2024 campaign alive in the eyes of many. It was never just about one night, but if they couldn't get past the Suns tonight, there would have been further calls and fears that the perennial finalists of recent years might not even make the 8 in 2024. They've still got a long road ahead of them, and they're going to have to do it without a couple of experienced heads by the look of it tonight. Knee injuries to Lincoln McCarthy and to Darcy Gardner. A couple of other problems as well. Those look long-term, though, for Dizzy and Link, as they're known. A calf injury for Brandon Starcevich and concussion for Noah Answorth. And the Suns just fell flat tonight. These kids with so much expected from them. And a few of the experienced heads as well. The first Q Clash for Damien Hardwick. And yet again, Gold Coast has been shown up by Big Brother up the road. Brisbane 10-19-79 to Gold Coast 6-9-45. The Lions led by 22 points at quarter time, 40 at half time, 36 at three-quarter time, and 34 in the end. 2 goals kicked by Joe Danaher, 2 goals kicked by Darcy Gardner before he left the ground with that knee injury. And single goals for Kai Lohman, Josh Dunkley, Jared Berry, Logan Harris on debut. An emergency who became the sub, who was in the game in the first 15 minutes. He kicked the goal. Harry Sharp kicked the goal. Charlie Cameron kicked the goal as well. While for Gold Coast, Ben King kicked half of their 6. The others were Ben Ainsworth, Jed Walter and Ben Long. So Brisbane are 3-5. And they've got Adelaide in Adelaide next week before their next home game is the Tigers here. And then the Suns, well, they're off on their Darwin expedition, which has been fruitful for them of recent years. North Melbourne next Saturday night before the start of Sir Doug Nicholls rounds, and Geelong take the trek up there as well. The Suns are 4-4. We're about to have the presentation of the Q Clash Cup and the Marcus Ashcroft Medal, which...
Oh, Zorko.
Well, as we've said, he's played in more Q Clashes than anyone, Dane Zorko. His 23rd Q Clash, so he's only missed 3 of them. He's won the best and fairest at the club 5 times. He's been the leading goal kicker at the club 3 times, but he has never won the Choppers.
It's like that night at the Oscars when you've got that career and it's your turn, isn't it?
Well, I don't think anyone takes turns, but if you have 39 possessions, 5 contested possessions, 16 marks, 3 clearances, 4 inside 50s, and 849 metres gained.
Yeah, it's nearly... Yeah.
And it's interesting, we've been talking about it, Matt Promise and Jamie Stanton. He's been the guy that has been the one the first couple of months while the rest of the squad is getting over last year or thinking, oh, yeah, well, our window's still open. He's been the one, certainly outside looking in, that's like, you've got to take every season, you've got to take every opportunity that you get. He doesn't know whether he's going to get another chance. And it would be fitting if he gets some recognition tonight, in my humble. Everyone's lined up. Keep your messages coming, 0437 774774. G'day to Bill and Judy on the Nullarbor. They say, great call, guys. Great result. Go Lions. Everyone's just milling around waiting for the official ceremony to start. By the way, earlier today, if you missed it, Dockers by 9 goals over Richmond and Hawthorn by 7 points over the Bulldogs. So round 8 is complete. Before we get to the end of the broadcast, we'll go through the ladder as well. And Kendall Gilding is going to be our MC. The man himself is in the house, Marcus Ashcroft. Dean Warren, the head of AFL, the chair of AFL Queensland as well there, former footy manager at the Lions. And then went to chief executive at AFLQ and is now chair of AFLQ. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah. He's had a few hats in footy, Dean Warren, in this part of the world. And everyone's just waiting for the cue from the floor manager. Here we go. Kendall Gilding, your MC.
26, we thank you so much for being here to watch the Brisbane Lions take on the Gold Coast Suns. We hope you enjoyed the match. The Marcus Ashcroft Medal, presented to Best on Ground tonight, is named after a true Queensland AFL legend. Marcus Ashcroft is a triple premiership player for the Brisbane Lions and has held sports administration roles at Broadbeach, the Lions and the Suns. I welcome Marcus now to present the Marcus Ashcroft Medal to Best on Ground tonight, which is Dane Zorko.
Finally, the Zork claims the Marcus Ashcroft medal. The most capped Q Clash player wins the Best on Ground medal for the first time. Overlooked as a Gold Coaster, picked up by the Lions. Oh, we want to hear from him, and he's been ushered back to the huddle.
Oh, turn it up. I'd rather nothing against Kendall.
Oh, Zane, you got a big job tonight now.
Oh, you got to get him. You got. Oh. Harris Andrews is going to receive the cup. That's 23 of the 26 Q Clashes, and for the first time he's Best on Ground in the local derby.
I just wanted to thank Jared and the Gold Coast Boys for the game tonight. It's obviously a great battle every time we play you. And I also want to say thank you very much to all the fans out there for coming out, and hope you have a great day off tomorrow.
Harris has done the Freddie Mercury and picked up the mic stand to talk rather than lean down to the microphone.
That was just perfect. I'm not going to adjust it, I'm lifting. Brilliant.
I mean, you reckon they could read the room? Everyone wants to hear from the guy that's won the medal. Yeah, this could be done better.
You reckon?
The Suns are now leaving the ground and the Lions have got to pose for a photo. We'll get the song. Okay, Jamie, Matt, what did we learn tonight?
Oh, Brisbane were back. That would be the first time they've played 4 quarters this year. And I'm sure we're just watching now, Fags and Dimmer having a chat, and Fags was saying, thanks for letting me get one there, mate. It needed to release some pressure. But look, that was the first time they've played like we've seen for the last 4 or 5 years up here. They've were just dominant in the tough contested clearance work. They dominated their territory, and they defended extremely well, which they haven't been able to defend all year because of a lack of effort and want. And tonight they're able to show that. That'll be their standard. I'm sure Fags will say that's what we've got to do every week now. How do we replicate that again and again? And for the Suns, the question will be, is that just a blip on the radar, or will they grow and learn from this? And I'm sure Dimmer will make some changes like he did a few weeks ago when they had a bad loss. He brought in some young ones when they went to Adelaide, and they got on a bit of a roll, and we'll see how they bounce back next week against North in Darwin. But Fags would be really relieved, especially with the injuries they had, but more their intent and the way they went about their footy was really pleasing tonight for 4 quarters.
Yeah, Brisbane's ball movement tonight was really impressive. That first quarter set up the game before really the injuries started to pile on. Brisbane moved the ball in a really impressive manner, and they were looking to play on at all costs. It'll be really interesting to see if teams try and play that game style against Gold Coast now in future rounds and future games, because Gold Coast had no answer for it, and obviously the game turned on its head after quarter time because of injuries and so forth. But if Brisbane were able to play that game style for longer, would it have been such a significantly bigger margin based off that first quarter? You have to say yes. So, potentially it would be interesting to see if North, change the way they play against Gold Coast next week to try and take advantage, and one, if they have the personnel to actually do that.
Well, West Coast did that in the first half last week, and then the Suns shut them down and then just scored at will after that. It's interesting. I just went and had a look then. That's 147 marks is the 5th most marks in the last 5 years in a game. And they did that with two players on the ground.
And Mikey from Bendigo texts, and it's a good point as well. When was the last time that a team kicked 2 goals after half-time and won?
Yes. Yeah. Normally you'd be expecting torrential rain or a game in Darwin when it's slippery and you really struggle to score. So they had a terrific game plan. They did it well, and the Suns weren't able to offer any resistance at all. That's the disappointing thing. So it'll be interesting to talk about whoever Zano gets in the rooms about what was their build up to this week and how proud they are of their efforts.
Apart from last year's game at Carrara, the last 6 or 7 years have perennially disappointed. The Suns have been very poor against Brisbane. They make more noise about the Q Clash. Brisbane just go and win them. Yeah. So that's now 19 wins to Brisbane and 7 wins to Gold Coast in the 26 Q Clashes. I mean, Damien Hardwick can turn up and say his noise and pick the kids, and there can be all manner of excitement. But the currency is they failed again. When the competition looked at them and said, are you going to prove something different tonight? Yep. And the answer is no.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not. Against a team who'd been going like bastards and got busted at the start of the game. And kicked 2 goals after half-time and still won.
Yep.
This is a really bad night for Gold Coast. Oh, they might gloss over it a bit. But the Suns have been pathetic in Q Clashes across the board for the last 5 or 6 years, and tonight was one of their worst.
And it's funny because we had Mark Evans on at the start of the show was talking about, big Sunday night, potentially looking at putting finals on in this time slot up here in Queensland. And, would this be the type of game style that we want to play before, going into finals, et cetera? That sort of was where he was sort of leading the conversation to. And they got shown up on the big stage. The whole Victoria, WA, SA were all watching Gold Coast tonight, being able to go, can you take a scalp? Everyone thinks Brisbane's there to be taken, and they couldn't do it, unfortunately. So not only is it embarrassing in the Queensland market, they were on the stage for everyone to watch them tonight, and they just proved the narrative that continues to play. Gold Coast aren't ready. Like, at the moment, right now, that's what they're proving, is that they're just not ready.
And this is very much similar to the Collingwood game last year that actually got Stuart Dew the Koken. Not saying that would ever happen to Hardwick, but very similar circumstances. It was all presented up there. Everybody's eyes were on the game, and then nada. So where does that leave Hardwick, and how do you regenerate that young list from there?
Oh, and there's the difference between the sell and going about doing your job. And you pick a 4-gamer 18-year-old who did nothing. And I'm not having a go at the kids. I'm having a go at selection. If you want to win a derby, can you chuck 4 green teenagers into a game and hope? And that's what they did tonight, the Suns. They chucked 4 green teenagers in and hoped.
Yeah, and none of them showed anything up for it. They got beaten comprehensively by their...
And this is nothing against them.
No.
I'm you mentioned about that before the game.
Yeah, I'm talking about... I was concerned at selection when they kept, like, different to play. If you're playing against West Coast at home, fine. Hawthorn at home, fine. Come up to Big Brother, who played in the grand final last year, and think the kids are going to do the job?
Well, they played Sam Day last week against West Coast, and then they dropped him back to the VFL. So that tells you where they're thinking at, and it'll be interesting to see what team he picks next week. I know we're not going to gloss over tonight's loss, but see how they go.
First time this year that Zane Bojack has welcomed the winners into the Brisbane rooms at the Gabba.
Yeah, it's a unique experience, Q. The Q Clash Cup is here in the hands of Logan Morris. We're going to hear from him very shortly. They're throwing the sports drinks around. Bruce Reville, he's a very happy man as well, given that he's made his debut. Both of those players have played more minutes than they would have expected, as Lincoln McCarthy just hobbles past me with his right knee strapped up, and it is a real mash unit here. They're covering Bruce and Logan with the sports drink. Wowee, it is wet down here, and we haven't had flooding rains. It's just the sports drink. A lot of celebrations. Here we go. The Brisbane Lions singing in their dressing rooms at home for the first time this year. I think after Logan dries off, we might be able to chat to him, Q.
Okay, Zane. will stay close. Keep your messages coming on 0437 774 774. Brisbane's won the Q Clash by 34 points in front of a record crowd of 30,285, the biggest ever gathering to see Brisbane take on Gold Coast. Steve from Ballarat on the text is very strong. I don't know whether I agree wholeheartedly here, but I'll read what he's texted. I'm a Carlton supporter who played football on the Gold Coast for 14 years. That first half in particular was perhaps the most insipid, pathetic effort I've seen from a senior VFL-AFL team in 50 years of watching footy. Where does Hardwick go from here? Have some players gone backwards under Hardwick? Tonight was simply horrendous. The AFL and Stuart Dew must have watched that first half with their jaws on the ground. The effort has put AFL in South East Queensland back for 5 years. Strong from Steve at Ballarat. If you want your say, 0437 774 774. This boy's had a very, very busy day. Zane Bojack back in the rooms.
Yeah, I'm going to start with the fact that Logan Morris, you were playing VFL earlier today. When did you find out that you were going to be making your debut and playing for the Brisbane Lions in the Q Clash?
So I played the full game of VFL and then emergency today, so we have to get here a couple of hours early. And then as soon as the boys run out, I was like, I'm not playing here, get up to the stats box. And then, I got the tap on the shoulder and they said, yeah, you're playing. So I quickly just rushed and my mind was just going, I didn't know where I was. And, I just was rushing and, it was good to get out there and debut. I've been working pretty hard for it, so it was good to get the hard work paying off, and it was great to get the win as well.
So you had the subs vest on for a short period of time, and I noticed that they were working on you as well. Were they just trying to get the lactic acid out of your legs ready for a big contest? Yeah. So, obviously you're playing a full game, you're pretty stuffed, so, they just wanted to keep me ready, and then, pretty early we had that many injuries, so they were like, you got to get on. So, jumped straight out, and, it was pretty awesome. Struggled to play the 4 quarters, but got there in the end. So what's your mindset? I noticed Chris Fagan came over and tapped you on the shoulder when you still had the subs vest on, and he said, right, you're on. Was it perhaps good that you didn't have to think about it sitting on the bench? You were just able to get straight into the contest, and I know you had a few shots at goal, but to kick a goal in the AFL is extraordinary.
Yeah, it was probably good to get the tap on the shoulder early, so I'm not sitting there thinking, am I getting on? It was an awesome experience. One I'll always remember, and it was great to get the win in the end and kick a goal, and all the boys getting around me was awesome.
All right, well, I'll pass it up to our panel because they're very much looking forward to chatting to you. You are a story and a half. I've got Quentin Hull, got Matty Primus, got Jamie Stanton and Michael Price.
Logan, it's Quentin here. Congratulations. What an experience. The one thing I want to know is who makes the phone call to your loved ones that tells them that you're about to live your dream?
Yeah, well, lucky my mum and dad were already up in Brisbane, so obviously they're from Melbourne, but they were up to watch me play VFL today, and then our welfare manager at the club gave them the ring, and I actually haven't seen them yet, so it's going to be awesome to see them and see their reaction, but they were here to see my debut game, which was something that they would have loved it, and I loved it too.
Do they travel to watch you play VFL much? Is it pure coincidence, and good coincidence at that they got to see it tonight?
No, they come to a few, like most games. They haven't missed a game this year yet, so lucky that they were here, and awesome.
What's the preparation been like this week? Because everyone in the competition wanted to have a whack at the Lions. I mean, you didn't play in Canberra, but you've been around this group and you've seen the pressure that's been applied upon them. What was it like preparing for this game?
It's just to stay positive. We've been thrown a bit of stuff at it the last couple of months, but the energy and the confidence in this group, since I walked into the doors, the confidence in this group is, it's pretty cool, and it's good to bounce back this week after a couple of losses, and hopefully we start rolling from here.
And usually we just revel in the story of the individual, but when we have a big news game like this, I mean, getting all the experiences first up here, Logan, we have to ask, because you're the first insight to the camp, what
I actually don't know. They were sitting on the bench in the end, still smiling and getting around all the boys, so I'm not too sure what those injuries are, but hopefully, fingers crossed, they're nothing too serious.
Yeah, okay.
Matt, Jamie.
Logan, Matt Promise here, mate. Well done on tonight. It's a great way for a young fella to learn about preparation. Just be prepared and ready to go. I'd be interested in how you thought your team was tonight. I thought the way you attacked Gold Coast and then the way you owned the ball. We spoke about it a fair bit through our night. 140-odd marks and you just own territory on them. I thought it was the first time you've had a four-quarter performance tonight for the year.
Yeah, 100%. Going into the game, was a big focus was coming out at half-time and starting strong in that third quarter. Our third quarters have been pretty poor this year. So, yeah, that was a big focus for us, our third quarters, and I thought we held them off pretty well, which, then followed into the fourth, and we just stuck at it all game, and, good to get the win.
Logan, Jamie Stanton here. Congratulations on your debut. It's huge. So you clearly deserve it to obviously be, in this position. But I'm really interested in what Fags' instructions were to you guys during the week in terms of your ball movement in the first quarter. Seemed to be like you were trying to take advantage or put some speed on the ball to try and take advantage of maybe Gold Coast's or transition from their midfields. And then as you guys got injured, your ball movement changed significantly. Was that also instructed, or was that just due to the fact you guys were all tired?
I think that's just the fact that we only had two on the bench. Myself playing a full game in VFL, then trying to play an AFL game. It's just simply, blokes pretty knackered and not getting much time on the bench. So, we'll reset and go again next week, hopefully with a full team, all four quarters.
Logan, Michael Price here, mate. Congratulations again on your debut and on that goal too. A lot of composure to sizzle that one through. Mate, I just want to know, out of all of the players, and we know Zorks took away the medal today, who are the senior players that you look at as the barometer of this side? Who do you look up to and as leading the example for the Lions?
One for me is Josh Dunkley. He's our number one player with the fight to win axe, so it's just like the little 1%ers. He does all those spirit lifters and gets the team up and about. For me, that's Josh Dunkley, and he's a great leader and helps me at training and helped me today when I was out there.
How are you going with life in Brisbane?
Yeah, it's actually, I'm loving it. It's a good spot to live, and I'm missing family and stuff a little bit, but I'm doing something that I love, and I'm seeing them pretty often, which is good. I'm loving Brisbane.
Well, you've had a huge day. And first interview as well, I'd imagine, as a senior footballer. No one would have got to you beforehand because you didn't know until now. And you're out there and you've kicked a goal. Thanks for your time, Logan.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm really glad your folks are there to be able to enjoy it as well. Hopefully they're in the room, so...
I'm sure they are.
I've got to go see them.
Yeah, good on you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. Full game in the VFL.
Amazing. You were asleep well tonight.
From emergency to sub to into the game before quarter time.
Double match payments, Steve? Doesn't work like that anymore.
Brisbane 34-point victors over Gold Coast in the Q Clash. Steve from Ballarat's followed up with his text and he said, sorry guys, I meant that message in the context of playing an opposition depleted by injury, which is fair enough. And it wasn't as if they were two on the bench late in the game. They were two on the bench from quarter time, pretty much.
Yep.
And
the concussion too.
This shows you how professional Brisbane is and how regularly Gold Coast get to the moment and fail to seize it.
Yeah, I think unfortunately it says a lot about Gold Coast more than I think Brisbane. Brisbane being a grand finalist last year, we know that they are capable and have clearly stumbled a little bit this season, but Gold Coast, you would assume under Damien, have had probably taken some steps forward, and it's unfortunate to probably think that this takes a big step back. And with the schedule too, they play North next week, which doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the right response against the right team straight away. And it's probably not till they play Geelong in 2 weeks' time that we can probably reassess Gold Coast to see if they're able to be on this sort of stage.
39 scoring shots to 15. This is... I don't know. This must be the biggest discrepancy in marks in AFL history. 148 to 60.
It'd have to be.
148 marks for Brisbane. Opposition took 60.
Yeah,
that's extraordinary.
That's the thing that will.
Where's the marking?
Yeah.
Where's the?
Not that you stop them.
Yeah.
You quickly find a
As in, find a man. Mark a man. Yeah.
You get close to them, and then after 6 seconds, they get called to play on, and they have to kick long down the line. But they just refuse to do that. They allowed them to march the ball down there, and that's why the inside 50s were so high, because there was no pressure on the ball. And that was what amazed me. Even after half-time, I thought it would get better for the Suns, but it actually went the other way. Brisbane still owned the ball. So that'll be the thing that would be, I'm sure, in Dimmer's guts, be curling up the drive back down the highway, is the lack of intent and want when they didn't have the ball.
Let's get down to Zane in the rooms.
Well, we had Mark Evans on earlier from the Gold Coast Suns. It's only fair that we go to the chairman of the Brisbane Lions in Andrew Wellington. Andrew, first time we've been in the dressing room this year for the Lions. It's a celebratory one. What an important win that was for your club in that Q clash.
Yeah, it was an important win, and obviously the nature of the win makes it that little bit more special, just to have so many injuries, particularly early in the game, to see those boys run it out. You know, we've got Logan Morris playing his second game of the day, so it was a huge effort.
Now, have you had a chance to chat to the coaching staff and find out how some of your players are? Because you've got to go to Adelaide this week, and you've lost some serious arsenal out of your side.
Look, I haven't had a detailed chat, but obviously just looking at the nature of the injuries, I expect we'll need to find a few replacements for next week, but the team will work through that early in the week.
You're someone that's watched Dane Zorko over a number of years, his 23rd Q Clash, and here he is winning his first Marcus Ashcroft medal. How proud are you of his performance, not just tonight, but all season? Oh,
he's been fantastic, hasn't he? And he just keeps keeping on, and he brings great energy to the team. And I think what really pleases me is the way he's transitioned from being the captain to not being the captain, but still being a great leader of the group. And it was great to see tonight.
Does it take the pressure off your coaching group, because they've been under fire?
I think they feel the pressure every week. It's such an even competition, and so I'm sure that it makes life a little bit easier, but you celebrate the win, and then you pretty quickly start to look at next week, particularly no doubt we'll need a few replacements.
And I want to ask you, we talking to Mark Evans, he was talking about how important it was for the Gold Coast Suns to show that, you know, they are the kings of the North, as they even put on their banner tonight. What do you think this says about the Brisbane Lions? I think it's your 19th win in 26 contests.
I think it shows it means something to the group. People probably, particularly south of the border, have taken a while to get their heads around the Q Clash, but it's one of those unusual ones where I think it means, for a while it meant more to the players than it did to a lot of the public, and now the public are realising that, and it's creating great interest. We had a great crowd tonight. I think that's, I might stand corrected, but I think that's the biggest crowd we've ever had for a Q Clash, 30,000. So it was. I think people are really starting to take it seriously.
You actually stole my last question. It was the biggest crowd you've ever had, over 30,000, beating the 27,000, I think, about 4 years ago. From your perspective, do you think Sunday night's a possible winner, particularly around this Labor Day weekend?
Well, it seems that way. I must admit I wasn't quite sure, but people voted with their feet and came along and treated to a pretty good spectacle. So, yeah, it could probably work in the future.
All right, well, I know you've got to go. I really appreciate chatting to us, and congratulations on getting a home win. This used to be a fortress here once upon a time, but finally you got a home win this year.
Yeah, well, we need to turn it back into a fortress, but as they say, one step at a time. So a win tonight's the first step on that journey.
Good on you, Andrew. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dane.
Well done, Zane. Andrew Wellington, the chairman of the Lions, and the big rivalry night, derby night, Q Clash night. Well, there's the spoils for one group and disappointment for the other. Now, we'll get the 3, 2 and 1 for the ABC Sport AFL Player of the Year in a moment. Who's on duty tonight, by the way? Matt, Jamie, have you decided? Oh, sorry? Matt's going to take it. Okay, here are the numbers. Zorko, 40 possessions. Neil, 34. McCluggage, 32. Dunkley, 27. Wilmot and McKenna, 25. That's your top group for Brisbane. For Gold Coast, Flanders had 30. Miller, 25. Fiorini, 23. Anderson, 23. Powell, 21. Now, I'm just looking down the board. Where's Rowell? 16 for him. 2 clearances. That's way down for Matt Rowell. He sets his own standards, but that's one of the reasons that Gold Coast weren't as good tonight. Brisbane, 377 possessions to Gold Coast, 304. Contested-wise, Brisbane won it by 16, 132 to 116. And again, that marks stat. They had 88 more marks. 88 more marks at 148 to 60. And the inside 50s were plus 18 to Brisbane at 64 to 46. 10-19-79 beat 6-9-45. Votes, please.
Votes, please. Well, and not just because of the numbers you went there through, Q, but 3 was definitely to Zorko. His ability to rebound off half-back. He was running as hard as he was the first 5 minutes in the last 5 minutes of the game, which is amazing for a guy who's
35 years of age. So he's now 5 best and fairest, 3-time leading goal kicker. And the one concerning thing tonight for Brisbane, he's still the hungriest guy in this group.
I was going to say, would he be winning their best and fairest this year?
Oh, definitely.
Comfortably, wouldn't he? So
and at 35 years of age and on what? Potentially the last year of his career. The one concerning thing about the hunger of this group off the back of getting so close last year, why is the oldest guy the hungriest?
The driving one, yeah. But look, an outstanding, 40 touches, 853 metres gained, 5 tackles, 4 inside 50 still off half-back and kicked 3 behind. So if he had nailed a couple of goals, it would have been an amazing game. 2 to McCluggage, who I thought was so clean. And if for Brisbane to win tonight, their midfield had to beat the Suns' midfield, and they comprehensively did that. And McCluggage was huge there. 9 clearances, 10 inside 50s, and 1 to Dunkley. It was interesting to hear the young fella talk about him before as the king of their 1%ers. And he does that, we know, that's the reason they got him up here. But, kicked a goal, 8 tackles, 6 inside 50s. And obviously Lachie Neale was outstanding, but I thought those 3 were the clear winners on the ground. And look, there's a lot of other good plays in there, but they'd be my 3-2-1. Zorko, McCluggage, Dunkley.
And Dunkley had the 10 scorer involvements as well, so he's added that string to his bow as well as being a tough nut underneath.
Harris Andrews might be a bit stiff there.
Yeah.
A little sneaky one from Stanton. Yeah, bang.
A little uppercut.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, there was. Wilmot was terrific off half. Their halfbackers decimated the small forwards of the Suns and gave them a lot of drive. And I thought Big O was fantastic against Wits. And, a lot of good players.
The hard part is probably, like you say, there's a lot of good players from Brisbane tonight. It's probably looking at the other side of the coin and go, how many of the Gold Coast players won their position against their direct opponent? I reckon I can probably think of Will Power playing on Charlie Cameron. I think he probably had a really good game against him and probably pose the question of what's happened to Charlie Cameron, and then you could look at a wider question of what's happened to the small forwards in general in Toby Green at GWS, and, the kings of the small forwards over the past couple of years are really struggling in that area.
Going to borrow a classic line here. I think Fags is now going to get the footballing equivalent of necessity being the mother of invention. This is a team that has hardly changed in the context of the way that football moves.
Yep.
But he will now be without Lincoln McCarthy, be without Darcy Gardner. Darcy Gardner didn't play a lot of last year, but came in the final. These are guys who are backbones of the 5-year push.
Who replaces them? They're 2 forwards.
Well, Gardner's a forward now, isn't he?
He has been this year,
yeah. And Calamar Chi might be the guy that comes in and plays Lincoln McCarthy's role.
Maybe, but yeah.
And he's out with a hammy.
He'd been going really well on the wing, though, hadn't he? This year, anyhow.
But also, are you bringing anyone new in? Like, I think, isn't that your question you're posing?
Yeah.
Q is like, let's bring new, let's see new. It's like Calamar Chi's been around.
Yeah,
it's been seen.
And with no confirmation as yet about McCarthy and Gardner, but for argument's sake, the ACL rehab group, Ashcroft, Coleman, Duday, and potentially McCarthy and Gardner.
Yeah, or Ashcroft back soon, but
that's the group.
Could be 4 in a year, which is
Hipwood's, of course, had his and come back.
Yep.
Rayner's done his and come back.
Yeah, look, it's one of those dreaded injuries. Obviously, you never want to see anyone go down with an ACL, and I think if you're in the ACL club, it probably hurts a little bit more, and you feel a bit sicker about watching them when they happen too. But it is something to pose the question of what's going on at Brisbane around that injury front, especially around their knees. Like, are they doing as much as they possibly can to stop these from happening? Obviously, there's a lot of research going around at the moment that talks about making sure that you're prepping to play and what you're doing in terms of your week to week. And, Zane mentioned during the call, is it the fact that they have a lack of pre-season, but then you compare them to Collingwood, and Collingwood, only have 1 at the moment. And it's funnily enough, he's a former Lion. So in terms of their ACL and their list.
They're mixed, you're
so
right.
it's like, is it the fact that maybe all the preloading that Dan McStay did at Lions and you change over to a different S&C. I don't know, but it's one of those ones that I think the medical team will definitely have to look into and see, because there's some good players on that list.
Yeah, it's interesting. So Brisbane go to Adelaide to play the Crows next week, and the Suns start their week and a half jaunt to Darwin. North first on Saturday night, and then Geelong in the big start to Sir Doug Nicholls round. 34 points the final margin here. So we get to the end of round 8. Here's the AFL ladder. Sydney and Geelong with 7 wins and 1 loss. Sydney with the better percentage. Giants third, 6-2. D's fourth, 6-2. That's your top 4. Sydney, Geelong, Greater Western Sydney, then Melbourne. Essendon, the 5.5 wins, just ahead of Fremantle's 5 wins. The Dockers 9-goal winners over Richmond today. Then Port 5-3, Carlton 5-3. There's the clean cut. 5 wins gets you into the 8 at the moment after 8 rounds.
Who's missing, Q, out of the 8?
Collingwood. Not in the 8 just yet.
At the end of the year, who's dropping out of that 8 at the moment?
Oh, come on. Can I just do the rest of the ladder first? 4.5 wins for the Magpies. I reckon the Suns are overs at 10th at the moment, 4-4. They've got a lot to prove again. They'll go to Darwin, probably beat North, and then we'll wonder. And they'll get a bit of a free pass if they can't beat Geelong, because Geelong is Geelong. We're still weeks away from working out whether the Suns are good enough.
And Darwin's a unique...
Because they go there and win.
Yeah, you play in Darwin. It's a unique game. If they could beat Geelong because the conditions is completely irrelevant.
You know what's going to happen? It's going to be close to the Collingwood game again, where the rest of the competition's going to say, "Oh, let's pay attention to Gold Coast again and see if they can beat Collingwood at home." Because I think that's the first. It's not far after. Oh, they've got Essendon coming up, I think, before that. But anyway, Dogs in big strife. Lost by 7 points to Hawthorn today, 3 wins. Adelaide, 3 wins. Brisbane, 3 wins. St Kilda, 3 wins. West Coast, 2 wins. Hawthorn, 2 wins. Richmond, 1 win. North, no wins. That's the ladder at the end of round 8. Highlight of the weekend for you, Matt?
Oh, you saying Brisbane are going to win by 36 points and they won by 34. That's an outstanding way to finish the long weekend's not done yet, but a good way to finish Sunday night.
We had a few decent derbies. This wasn't the best game, was it?
No.
You know, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Stay the same, exactly.
Now, you put the navy blue and the black and white stripes at the MCG.
Yep.
No matter the showdown, no matter the new derbies up north.
Exactly right.
And then you get the Macedonian Marvel nearly breaking a corporate box window because his boys kicked a magic goal at the end of the game. It was pretty special.
That's the first time I've heard the Gabba crowd absolutely boo the Suns as they ran onto the field, though. So, hopefully that's the start of that, fermenting rivalry.
Just thinking across the... So, is it Collingwood's right there and the Swans are the real deal? Is that the two big takeaways from the weekend?
Well, I still think there's... Collingwood are coming.
Port continued to be vulnerable.
Yeah, to the top teams, absolutely.
And here's the other one I'll throw at you. A trip west is no longer a guaranteed 4 points.
No,
with the Eagles.
Yeah, they're harder to play against.
Yeah, Essendon had to work hard last night.
And Essendon is still a team, they don't put teams away. I've got a couple of mates who are Essendon fans, and they said, "Oh, I'm worried about this West Coast game." I was like, "You serious?" And they, at the end of the game, I told you, they can't finish games, even though they're, 5 wins. But I'm not quite sure on them yet either.
I'll reverse the question without answering yours. I'll ask one from mine. Do the Dogs make the 8 from here?
Dogs?
Yeah.
No.
Jamie?
God, no. No, I'm sorry. I don't think they do, unfortunately, for any dog supporters that are listening. That's not a good way to lose to Hawthorn today, unfortunately.
It's been fantastic to bring round 8 to you. Now we've got a Thursday night start, Carlton versus Melbourne. Carlton versus Melbourne to get round 9 underway on Thursday night at the MCG. By the way, D's and Geelong was a great game too, even though they missed all those goals and then couldn't miss. Yeah. Strange stuff. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks to Michael Price, Zane Bojack. Thanks to Aussie Bob and the Faders here, to Akash back in the studio, to our entire team across the weekend. That's round 8 of footy. Dane Zorko, the most capped Q Clash player, finally winning the Marcus Ashcroft medal as the Lions won by 34 points. Hope you enjoyed your weekend of footy. We'll be back at the G on Thursday night.
It's a long kick into the pocket, making his way to the front of the pack. Lester, but King at the back. He's got to pay that, absolutely. He's had an accurate year, 19 goals, 8. He leans back on this one, and it's no different. Straight through the middle for Ben King. And the Suns get the first goal in Q Clash 26.
Brandon Starcevic is not playing. He must have done something in the warm-up. They're getting word it's a calf injury for Brandon Starcevic, so early drama in Q Clash 26.
And McCarthy has gone down, and he's holding a leg. He has not moved as the Suns play on.
Danaher with the chase has earned a free kick for Brisbane. Oh, here we go. So Joe's missed one from 30 out straight in front. And now he's going to wheel in on the left. Bang deep on the right half forward. Flank from 55. And of course he kicks that one. Joe Danaher in a nutshell. Brisbane in front. Sharp plays on 55 out. Low kick to the goal mouth. Out the back. Gardner beats his opponent. Wins the footy. Kicks a second. Huge fly from Walter. Got a piece on the head. Answorth, he couldn't take the mark, and Answorth stays down.
I tell you what, Hugh, he looks in a lot of trouble. I don't think he even knows where he still is. This is a real worry for the Lions.
Fiorini couldn't get onto it. Here's a chance. Harry Sharp with the banana bender. Outside of the right boot from the right forward pocket. Sharp shooting indeed to give the Lions a 28-point lead.
Charlie Ballard's flown over the top of Darcy Gardner. It's happened right in front of us. Q's called it. His right knee has collapsed underneath him. This is carnage here for Brisbane so far. This could be the 4th player they have lost. It bounces over the head of Ballard. Now it's free. Here's a go. Roped by Logan Morris. First goal in AFL footy. Look at the young man go. They jump all over him. It's the 8th goal for the Lions, and they are celebrating hard with Logan Morris, the 18-year-old, in the left forward pocket.
In the bullseye, hand passes to centre half forward to Lukosius. Holds up 55 out. Screws it around his body. Great running from Long. Sprints it from the centre of the ground to get to the drop of a well-placed kick. 20 out in the left forward pocket. Long, slight angle left, 30 out, kicks the goal. One more goal might be enough. Rayner chips to the pocket. Out the back of the pack, Charlie Cameron. Game over. Cameron boots it through from point-blank range. Q Clash 26. Injuries are plenty for the Lions, but they've won the game. And their season is alive. A pretty gritty victory. 10-19-79 beats 6-9-45, and last year's grand finalists finally sing this song at their home ground in 2024.
Hi, Waleed Ali here. If your brain's hungry for insights, the ABC Listen app has a feast of podcasts.
Try the Minefield.
Today we're going for the problem of evil. Injustice and evil, if they're the same thing.
You might also like future tense.
And there is a sense of privilege in that idea of natural, isn't there, which can easily be manipulated.
Without a doubt. Or Dr. Carl.